So I grew up in a rough area of London. As a child, people would cover me in chocolate and cream and put a cherry on my head. It was really tough in the ghetto.
Fucking hell.
God's sake, man.
Hey! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Black Dog episode 99.
Ooh.
Yeah, 99.
Do we stick a flake in it?
If you like.
Yep, okay. If I like it, well, I should have stuck a flake in it.
Yeah.
That Beyonce song. Oh, God.
It is, yes. That's what it originally was after her experiences down Brighton seafront.
If you like it, then you should have put a flake in it. If you like it, then you should have put a flake
Her
in it.
and Jay-Z taking in the sun on Brighton front, yes?
Yeah. Walking up and down Eastbourne Promenade.
In the Escalade.
And taking donkey rides with lots of bling on.
Hey,
Can you do that bumper
Beyonce,
thing?
come here. There's a donkey over here.
You know that thing
I
that
didn't
gangs
know
do with...
didn't know Jay-Z was from Texas.
Can they do that thing
Texas
with the cars?
Scunthorpe.
Yeah, like they do with the cars, with the thingy, suspension. You know, where they fucking bounce it up and down. They do that with
a
the donkey. Yeah, can they do that with the donkey?
Low riding.
Low riding, that's it. A low riding donkey.
Low riding donkey. Yeah, nice.
Don't look that up on PornTube.
No. Hold on. Oh dear. Anyway,
Watch out, it's a ride by. On a donkey.
I got my kiss me quick head on in my donkey. I don't know any Jay-Z songs. I don't know what it is.
It's a hard knock life. There's one.
Yeah.
It's a hard knock. I don't know.
He's got 99 problems.
Well, and this
problems,
ice
And a
cream's
flake
of
ain't
them.
one.
There you go. Hey. That's it. Thank you very much. Good night, everybody. We've peaked. Yep. There's no coming back from that.
Right.
Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to Black Dog 99. No, not a flake. Black Dog 99 with strawberry sauce and sprinkles. And yes, this week we'll see how everyone's week's been. We haven't got any feedback for last week's episode, but we do have a few comments on the film that we're going to be reviewing this week, which is Elton's choice, which is...
The Endless.
The Endless. The Endless.
The Endless.
The Endless. Sorry, I can't make that work here. And we'll be doing that. We'll be doing that later on in the episode. Right, so we've been away for a fortnight. Let's see how everyone's fortnight's been. And we'll go with you, Jim, the birthday boy. How has it been, sir?
A bit up, a bit down. Last week, for various reasons, was a very, very irritating week.
Oh, right. Okay.
Nothing really major, but it's, there's just lots of little things just keep going wrong. Oh, Christ. The main thing I will mention is I got up Wednesday morning and turned on the TV, the sound came on, and no picture.
Oh,
lovely.
Shit.
So, yep. I did some Googling, turned it on and off again, and various voodoo was all to no avail, because basically when I turned it on, the set front light flashed 3 times, which is basically TV saying, I'm fucked.
Oh, God.
With the capacitors and the Powerball inside have given up the ghost, which is why some of it still worked, but no picture.
Oh, Christ.
Which,
Was there a fishy smell?
Well, there's some howling from me anyway.
Normally, if
the stench of
capacitors,
despair.
yeah, normally if capacitors go, then you get a fishy smell.
I did not know that. I didn't notice it, but then again,
The capacitors have gone in my pants.
No, that's you've run out of capacity.
Oh, that's
No.
sorry, Jim, carry on.
Yes, I looked at it. Apparently, you could get it repaired, but basically, it was actually cheaper to buy a new telly.
Oh, shit.
At least that's what you told Teresa. Yeah.
As
No,
the-
honest, it really is.
As
Really
the 70,
is cheaper.
as the 72, as the two men tried to lift the 72-inch screen through the door.
Gonna need to take the roof off. Yeah, lift that bugger in. Go on.
Well, it was just as well as my birthday this weekend, so I managed to take some of the sting out of the cost.
Oh, right, okay.
But yeah, so we got a new one, got it delivered the next day, which is pretty
Nice.
damn good in this modern world.
Definitely.
And it's a lot better than the old telly. I have discovered that when you watch Blu-rays, the sound is out of sync on the home theatre system. So I'm currently having fun and games trying to fix that fucking problem.
The millisecond timing shit that's on. Is that the Blu-ray player then, do you think? Or
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's only on the Blu-ray player, and it's only on Blu-rays. DVDs, it's still syncing. Blu-rays not.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, fun.
And it's kind of lots of options to play with on too many devices.
Yeah.
Which, but so yeah, I'm going to play around the rest of the week and discovering whether I've just actually invalidated my entire disc collection or not.
Oh, no.
No, but I'm sure it's fixable. It's just one of those things. You're just finding working out which bits are causing the lag.
Yeah. Oh, well.
But for a lot of playing around, knocking around with discs will be done. I found a temporary fix. So if you can switch the audio output to stereo, which means you lose the 5.1, but it's perfectly in sync.
Oh,
But
right.
obviously, I'm not going to let that lie.
Oh.
So I've got 5.1 speakers, and I'm going to use them, even though no bastard hardly ever does a 5.1 mix that's actually worth bothering with.
Oh, shit.
But, it's a challenge now.
Yeah. It's going to be that there's only like two Blu-rays in your entire collection that you can actually watch now because they're all in 5.1 and everything else is out of sync. Nice.
But yeah, now I've got to find a disc tomorrow and see if one got I think it's because the TV's got Dolby Atmos built in, and the Blu-ray I tried, that was in Dolby as well, so I think it's a double Dolby problem. So I'm going to find one that's got a DTS soundtrack and try that and see what the difference is.
If you've got any Nolan films, Christopher Nolan films, that's worth a look because he's that's part of his issue when everyone says I can't hear a bloody word that's being said. That's because he literally authors everything to 5.1 even on the Blu-rays, which is why sound goes up, sound goes down, it all goes wonky when you listen to it out of stereo speakers.
I shall get out the Dark Knight Returns tomorrow and have a play.
It might be worth a little look because that might be a good tester.
Yes,
if you can actually hear what the fuck they're saying.
Yeah. Well, so the other thing, it might be just a case of just switching the HDMI ports around.
There is that.
Because that's always the strange voodoo, or just changing the cable. Because superstitious things like this work 9 times out of 10 with these sort of tech problems, it seems.
Yeah.
Go back to SCART.
AV inputs, mate.
Oh, well, I could go optical, like proper hi-fi, but
Ooh, nice.
which I've never tried before, but that's a possibility. And buy more fucking cable in. I've not got enough cables cluttering up my house.
I was going to say the old 1 foot long fibre optic with the little nubbly bits that you have to take off at the ends.
Yes.
Oh, God, yeah, that's fun. And then you put your thumb on the end accidentally, and you've stained the end, and now it's got some issue because it's not blasting lasers through your thumbprint.
Yep.
Yep, lovely. Have fun with that.
The modern world's great, isn't it?
Isn't it? The more complicated it becomes, the easier it is to fuck it up.
Yep. So anyhow, tune in next week when I might want a new home theatre system as well. Or some more cables. Or both.
And a new Blu-ray player and possibly all these new UDMH HDMI drone. Yeah, my entire Blu-ray collection had to be upgraded to Ultra HD. Oh no. Cool. Anything else, sir?
But other than that, just to pick up something from Elton's week a while ago, we had a very fun week last week watching Danny Boyle's Pistol miniseries.
Oh, yeah.
Which we both thoroughly enjoyed. I mean, I know quite a bit about the Sex Pistols history, and I know it's with any of these sort of stories, you're always going on one person's version of events over another. But I thought it was pretty well done, and I think he sort of got under the skin of the things better than other things I've seen about the Pistols, and that was very enjoyable, especially with these proper archive footage sort of mixed in. And it got that whole thing that he had in the Jubilee, that it was God Save the Queen, someone take our rubbish away, please. Yes, a general strike. You might be seeing that again soon. Yeah. Anyhow,
bit of politics there.
Yeah. Other than that, another series I think we've just finished. Actually, which was the last one before coming on air. It's also on Disney, I think. The Atlas of Cursed Places.
Oh. Okay.
And I think it was done by National Geographic with a guy called, I think, Sam Sheridan. And firstly, he's very good because he's very sort of laid back, and he just throws in these quips in his narrations which you don't expect, which is quite funny. The first one on the Bermuda Triangle is the weakest because that one plays out exactly how you expect. Yeah. It's kind of, is it really mysterious? No, it's not. Here's some science and some supposition, which doesn't really prove it, but it's science, so we'll go with that rather than anything else. And yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
However, the one of the series are far more interesting because it doesn't really get caught up in that kind of bullshit or not. Sort of thing, whichever way it goes, it's always disappointing. I find in practice, you always think I've just wasted my time watching this. Whereas you just like it's like apparently the curse of Vlad the Impaler.
Oh right.
When Vlad was deposed, he placed a curse on the land, and this is something in Romanian culture. And it's not so much debunking the curse; he's looking at the kind of the effect this curse has had as part of a story in Romanian culture, and it's played out in Romanian history. The last one's on the Mothman, and he's asking why there are so many disasters in the West Virginia area, and that goes to some very interesting places. So the first one, the Bermuda Triangle, is the most kind of is exactly what you'd expect. It's still entertaining and interesting, but the ones after that, I think it actually managed to do something new with this sort of a show.
Yeah,
and you get some really sort of just interesting stuff coming up, and he's just very personable, and he's sort of just quite funny, and he sort of does sort of take the piss out of himself.
Nice.
I'm going into the Mothman's lair. Am I going to make television history? Or is it going to be like Geraldo storming Al Caputo's tomb? So it's definitely, I think it's only 6, but it's definitely worth a watch. Particularly, there's one like a voodoo curse, and so the West Virginia Mothman one. There's one on Atlantis. It actually has something new to say about Atlantis. I thought it was fascinating.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I'd thoroughly recommend that as I had one little gripe with it. It's from American TV. They were showing like pictures, like of ancient Greek statues and old etchings and things as part of the stories, and they've blurred out any bums.
Well,
it's on ancient Greek statues and things, and it's kind of
nice.
Really.
Yeah, we've got no problem scaring the shit out of you about ancient Mothmen coming to take you away. But if someone sees a willy, that's gone too far.
Yeah, particularly like an old one that was done like as an etching that wasn't very detailed. But we've blurred that out just in case a bum offends you.
It is Disney.
It will look like Ken dolls.
Yeah. Nice.
It's very, very strange. But so other than that, high recommend. And I'll leave you on that note for my week.
Nice, okay. I was going to ask one thing. It doesn't have that sort of normal National Geographic thing of showing the same 3 pieces of graphics over and over again, but overlaid at different speeds while the person just talks over it, asking different questions.
No, thankfully it doesn't.
No, thank you.
So,
because that's always my worst bit. It's like, were the pyramids really put down there by aliens? And then there's like a picture of stock footage from like the fucking Ten Commandments, and it's like, and then they play it again, but they play it backwards with an orange filter over it, and then as they carry on talking about something utterly, completely nothing to do with it, it's just like,
he's a lot more freewheeling. He's a bit more like James May. So I also enjoyed the new James May series on Italy, but like he says, so on there, okay, we're on that hunt for Atlantis. We're going to Africa, and it pans around the film crew, and the producer goes, "What now?" And he goes, "Yeah."
Yeah, Africa, that well-known flooded plain. Yeah. Cool. Okay, and that's called Atlas of Cursed Places.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Very entertaining. Very interesting stuff in it. Yeah. So
Awesome.
recommend that.
Okay, well that's 2 thumbs up for Disney Plus, isn't it? With the old Sex Pistols and that as well.
It's doing quite well actually as a streaming platform.
I was going to say it's going to feed into my week as well. Funny enough, so cool. Okay, right then. Well, in which case we shall leave it there and move on to Elton. How about you, sir?
Well, I had the misfortune to see someone use an articulated lorry as a weapon this week.
Oh.
Right, as an opener, that's quite a strong one, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I kind of, my luck bit me in the arse again. I won't go into that, but that's just work-wise. And I found myself on the M11 going along the M25 to go back along the M25, back up the M11 because there's nowhere else to pass around.
Yeah.
It's like an hour journey to get back where I was. And as it is at the moment, there's always traffic and, sod's law. Where I want to go somewhere, why wouldn't there be traffic? Of course there's traffic.
Of course.
I should have seen that. But I ended up coming... For people that do know the route from the 25 to the M11, there's like a 2-lane bleed-in lane that comes onto the M11.
Yeah.
And I was on that, and I was just sticking in one of the lanes, and I was just filtering back out onto the M11, as you do, and some nice little articulated truck behind me flashed his lights and let me in. I was like, thank you very much, sir.
Nice.
And, there was another person that wanted to get in front of me because, they jumped in front of me, but I was like, do you know what? I'm not going to argue. I'm cross as it is, so just, go for it.
Yep.
And then you always get that little numpty that always comes up the outside, inside. It'd be the inside, wouldn't it? Yeah, undercutting inside. And thinks, do you know what? No, I'm more important than you. I will get in front of you. And I was like, oh, no. So I just stayed in my lane.
Yep.
And his lane was slowly getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until
As
the
it
point
does.
where he ended up on the hard shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wasn't forcing him on there because the truck behind me was like, no, I'm not having that. And in the corner of my eye, I could see his bonnet was flapping around in front of him, all bent up, and something hanging off the front of it, but it was definitely flapping around like it shouldn't be.
Was
There
it
was
the
no-
car or the truck?
This was the car trying to nip in front of absolutely everyone.
Right.
And he was trying to nip in front of everyone in a state of, no, this car is very hot and I need to be somewhere very far away now. It's like, okay.
Right.
And so the truck behind me decided, no, you're not getting in front of me either. And then they ended up swapping paint. I was like, oh, God, it's going to kick off. And so there was a hoo-ha behind me as this car was trying to get in front of this truck.
Yeah.
To the point where you heard crashing and banging, and then the car just whoom down the hard shoulder
Oh, God.
just to disappear and cut in front of 4 or 5 people up front.
Right.
And I was looking in my rearview mirror, and the truck had stopped. And then he decided, whoom, down the hard shoulder after him. It's like, oh, shit. It's about to get real now, isn't it?
Yep.
And you saw him chase and push other people out the way to get to this car.
Oh, Christ.
And then you saw him get behind this car, and then everything all of a sudden stopped in a shudder of metal and squealing brakes and thuds.
Oh, fuck.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Bloody hell.
holy crap.
Mm.
He's clearly taken him out. He really has just dive bombed him. He's probably got so angry about it and just, sod it. I'm going to dive bomb you, destroy you. And then realise, well, hang on, I'm driving an articulated lorry here. That's a weapon, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is now.
It is now.
Compared to a car. And well, cars are weapons, but, you get my drift.
Well, when you think about it, it's amazing how much damage a truck can do to a car before it even scratches the paintwork. You know, it's yeah. What was the car in question? What make and model was it? Are you going to tell me it was something like an old fashioned Skoda or something like this?
No, I think. Actually, I couldn't tell you. I know it was silver, but I couldn't tell you what it was.
All it is sheet metal now, though. Yeah,
But
is
there
that
were.
right?
Was
there
Dennis
were
Weaver driving it?
there were a few dinks and dents, but definitely I know that the bonnet was hanging up where it shouldn't be, flapping
some
around, very
pretty
loose.
big fucking dinks and dents in it now.
And so, at this point, all the traffic has stopped, and so we're in 2 lanes, and there's another 2 lanes to our left-hand side, and so everyone's like, let's try and move over, because where we filter onto the M11, there's another 2 lanes filtering on from the other direction of the M25. So you have 4 lanes of M25 coming onto these three lanes of M11. So it gets very tricky very, very quickly. And hard shoulders turn into other lanes. And so that's where this truck and car whizzed down. And so you move up a little bit. And so where I get to is I was in the first lane, which now has become the middle lane once the other 2 lanes have joined the M11. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Okay. So this truck has straddled the middle and the fast lane, or the outside lane, sorry.
Yeah.
And so everyone now heads to the inside lane. But what I saw, I was indicating and heading there, and then Mr. Audi behind me just decided, oh, no, I'm more important than everyone else.
Oh.
And so he starts pulling out and not letting anyone else. Like, oh, fuck's sake. And you're trying to do this zipper effect of trying to get out the way so as to get moving on. But Mr. Audi's like, no, and then goes onto the hard shoulder. Like, what's going on with people? But the reason why he's gone onto the hard shoulder is because he has his phone in his hand and he wants to video and take photos of it.
Oh, good.
What?
Oh, rubberneckers, love them.
In portrait.
Just
What a
ruin-
cut.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
If it weren't bad enough as it is, he's not doing it in widescreen. No.
And at that point, you ran him off the road.
And that, sir, was the turning point.
And at that point, I shot him through the window.
I don't know what happened to the car. I saw
You
the
blacked
truck
out that
driver
point,
walk.
didn't you? That was
Well,
it.
I'm not for one of looking and rubbernecking. I much prefer looking at the rubberneckers, going, "What the fuck are you looking at?" And then
you were
their
rubbernecking
look,
the rubberneckers.
kind of, yeah. And then
Rubception.
I know a film about that. Yeah.
Rubception.
There we go. It's a rub within a rub within a rub.
Yep.
I'm
Wow.
rubbing the rubbers.
Oh, hang on.
Do you think that would be the British version of Pornhub? That's it. That's the theme tune for it. It's like really shit post-Brexit. This is our porn channel. Can't even afford instruments. Look at that. Just a slide whistle.
So yeah, I didn't see the car that he struck.
No.
It magically disappeared. I don't know whether he just floored it at that point or what. But yeah, that was scary to watch him just. He's lost control now. He just went for it. So the moral of the story is:
don't fuck with trucks.
Don't fuck with trucks, but also don't take the piss when you're trying to squeeze out.
Pardon?
Don't.
Hold up.
Mix it. Mix and match.
It's a great crossover. Yeah.
fucking carry on Pornhub.
Oh dear. I can't beat that, so that's my week.
Oh right, okay, fair. Pardon? Jim, where were you, man? Right. Okay. Right, well, exploding cars and trucks and stuff aside, we'll move on to Darren. How's your week, mate?
Oh, it's been fairly quiet, I suppose. Not much going on apart from watching stuff. I'll get the bad shit out the way first.
Go on.
You was involved in a motor accident
while watching television. Yes,
while filming in portrait in an Audi.
Yeah, exactly. We watched. We gave it a chance. We gave it a fair old chance. Right, this show I'm about to mention, and that show was Resident Evil.
Oh my god!
Well, you hear stuff and you think, well, I'm going to make up my own mind, right? I'm going to see if it's really as bad as a lot of these people are frothing about. Jesus H. Christ.
Dude, did you not see the comment on the podcast Facebook page when Chris Johnson actually put, I'm glad I stopped watching Netflix?
But there's a lot of stuff that Chris doesn't like that I really like.
Yeah,
so,
but he actually put a
and
clip.
there's stuff that he likes, that I really fucking hate. So it's like, I can't put really, I mean, you might be right, but I have to do it.
I understand, but now that you've seen it, do me a favour, go on the Facebook page, look at the YouTube clip he posted up, and see if you.
Oh no, we've seen it. We saw that.
Dance. Oh my god!
We saw that. It's like, well, this is without context. I don't know what context can make this better, but fuck it. Lord of the Rings, right? Okay. You know how in the very last one, whatever it was, the two ice cream cones or whatever the fuck it was called, you know how you kept watching it and you get to a bit and you think you reach for your coat because you think you're about to leave, and then it fades and you think, right, credits are they're doing something else now.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. It kind of goes on like that because the final episode. It's far too long, right? It's. I mean, I think it's like about over an hour long, and it's just an hour too long, right? So there you go.
A double Barnard too long.
A double Barnard too long.
Right.
It's just none of it makes any sense at all. It's just someone spaffing out ideas onto a notepad, and they obviously made a script for a really decent TV show, and so the runner has picked up the fucking notepad, the doodle pad, by mistake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there's just it's. I mean, you know what? It tries, getting in the last couple of episodes, it tries to start doing what it should have done all along and start linking it to actually the Resident Evil that we know from the video games. Right?
Right.
Even to the point.
You mean they just mention Raccoon City and call it a day, do they?
Oh, no. There's this is in a place called New Raccoon City because Raccoon City, something
like, fuck off.
Something happened in Raccoon City.
Did it? I wonder what that could have been after 8 fucking films.
Yeah, exactly. Games. But okay, so there's that, right? Okay, there's that. But they start trying to put things in it from the video game, and it's like it's what like Johnny Mathis once said: too much, too little, too late. They even go so far as to have the piano puzzle that you get in every single Resident Evil game. they've got that in there. And get this, one of the main characters jumps into a safe room that contains. What do you think it contains? What do you think this safe room has got in it? It's one item.
Typewriter.
Right? Yes, it has. It's got an old typewriter in there, right? Okay. So, and after a sea of nothing really linking it to the games, I went, oh, it's a typewriter. And that was it. My joy was over after that. It was like, it lasted a couple of seconds. But, even the main, like Wesker. Remember how Wesker was in the video games, right?
Wesker.
Yeah.
Wesker. Right? Wesker.
Is that the first game or what?
Yeah, he's in the first game, right?
Wesker. He's in the first game. He's a blonde dude. Looks like a military kind of cop crossover with dark glasses.
Right.
Looks like if you imagine an anime artist got hold of a picture of Val Kilmer from Top Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I am going to spoil something in this now. Okay, I don't think it really matters much, but I'm warning people.
Can I just see if I can head you off at the pass?
Go on,
because I have not seen the show.
Yeah, you're not going to get this one. This is basically said. This is where they trying to put in bits from the video game.
Is Wesker a bad guy?
No. Yes and no.
So,
well, this is the thing with Wesker in this, right? In the video game, he's this hardened commando type dude, right? Okay, that's with stars, okay, which are they're the police force that investigates various things, right? And stars features a lot in the video games. But Albert Wesker is he's built like a brick shithouse. He's got hair like Play from Kid and Play, right? So it's this fucking high top thing, right? But it's blonde. Right, it's in fact, it's like somebody's taken Guile from Street Fighter and turned him up to 11. Like they've given him the fucking what is it? The the film, the Rock film, turned it up to 11.
The Spinal Tap?
Yeah, they've given him the Spinal Tap treatment and turned his hair up to 11 because it looks like you could remove his hair and use it as a footstool. It's one of them sort of. That's what Albert Wesker looks like.
It's the Christopher Pike special.
Yeah, it is, right? No, Christopher Pike does that with style. This one doesn't. It's just a block. That's all it is. It's like one polygon in the game. That's it. It's just one big polygon, right? That's it. So that's what Albert Wesker is like in the game, right? Now in the series, he's a scientist dude, right? Who walks around in loafers and like cardigans, right? Okay, and he's bald, right? Okay. Now, I'm thinking, okay, they're trying to do something new with this. Fine, let's just go with it. And it's got to this episode where you find out, and this is the spoiler, children, right? You find out that the Albert Wesker we're looking at is one of 3 clones, right?
Oh, fuck.
That were all working together on this science experiment, right? The original Albert Wesker cloned himself. And you get to see Albert Wesker when he walks in, because he's, I'll give him this, right? He's more like the video game. This one that walks in, the one that cloned himself, is more like the one from the video game. Except it looks like, it's like Blade, the vampire hunter turns up, right? That's basically what he looks like, right? Because they have changed the race of the character, okay?
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's the concierge from John Wick. He's the one that's playing Albert Wesker, right?
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
It's got some really good actors in it. It's like it's like what is he doing here? He really wants that conservatory bad.
Yeah, of course he does.
It's got 1 or 2 famous people in it. I remember him being in it anyway, and I'm like, man, he was the biggest name they could get. This is obviously it, and he had some downtime between John Wicks. So he's done this role. But yeah. They put him in there, and it's like, well, that's more like the Albert Wesker that I know from the game. Not exactly like him, but it's the attitude. That's it. It's like, well, we're going there now. But oh man, it's a fucking mess. It is a fucking mess. This show, a complete and utter fucking mess. By the end of it, you just don't give a shit, and don't even get me started on his daughters.
What?
Because it jumps between like periods in time. You know, and if you're not watching what's happening, you sometimes it's easy for you to get confused. It's like, well, what's going on here? What's going on there? You know, it's like, why is it suddenly this? Oh, right, okay, so we're back in time before everything goes to shit, and now, and that's another thing. Somebody else pointed out that in the video games, the world never goes to shit. Right? Stars is always there, and they're always dealing with it. And by the end of each game, they've kind of contained the problem. So there's never an apocalypse. Right? There's never like small bands of humans living together. The only time you ever see that is in those fucking goddamn awful movies.
Oh, the Paul W.S. Anderson
films. Oh, man, yes.
Sorry, I have to spit. Yeah, go on.
Those ones with the Flash Gordon endings. You know, it ends one way, and the next thing you know, it's like the situation for the characters is totally fucking different.
Yes.
This is it. So, Resident Evil, oh, man.
Bogshite.
It is bogshite. So there's that. So anyway,
basically, they've not learned the fundamental lesson of adapting a game, which is why not use the content from the game as the storyline, not some other mad shit you found scrawled in shit on a bog wall.
Exactly. Just do the whole series based on the first game. Just have people trapped in a fucking house and they're trying to get out and they're surrounded by whatever it is that's running around outside.
Who knew that would be a good idea?
Just do a 3-part series. Just do like 90-minute episodes, right? 90-minute episodes of this thing, and that's all you need to do. You could do seasons like that and then do the next bit, Resident Evil 2, and you have it in fucking Raccoon City where it's all gone to shit there. Resident Evil 3, it's written there for you. You can change bits of it if you want, but follow the basics. Do that. You don't even have to get the characters exactly spot on, but give us something, you know? But there you are. So there's that. So, we won't be watching season 2. That's for sure.
I'm surprised you watched the whole of season 1, to be frank.
Well, you know what? You give it a chance, didn't you?
Nice.
So anyway, moving on from that, something which shouldn't be better than Resident Evil, but actually was. Okay, and I've had this for the last 5 seasons. It's been consistently a good TV show for kids, for adults as well, and that's Jurassic World or Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous.
You're still watching it, yeah?
I'm still watching it. We've watched the final season. They've now finished it off. It's done and dusted. But yeah, it's been a decent show. So I felt nothing like the hate I felt for Resident Evil TV show. I'll tell you that now. It's been consistently good entertainment. You know, it's not like Oscar winning or anything. It's just like, well, you know what? You took this and you did some stuff with it. You tried to expand and it's made its own little world that does, from time to time, refer to what's been going on in the films, but it doesn't rely on that. It's got its own set of characters. This bunch of kids who are trying to survive with all this, like going on different islands, trying to get back home. And every once in a while, you will get like a character from the film will show up, but it's not every single episode. It's like once every 12 or 15 episodes, somebody like, oh, look, it's Dr. Wu, the one who's fucking being a bit nasty. What is he up to?
Well, let's be honest. He's turned up in everything else.
Yes.
So
yes.
Why not?
So not bad at all. Like I say, entertaining watch, good with the kids, excellent stuff. So there's that. On the Stranger Things rewatch for Ree, getting her caught up with stuff as well, spotting stuff that I never spotted before, and also some plot holes as well. That the later series, I don't think they've watched their own series, because there's one or two things that are mentioned later on that you realise that, well, hold on, they've showed in later that this person knew this before this thing happened here anyway, so why is this person repeating it? Exactly. But all in all, still solid writing, good entertainment, some very good stuff in it. So, there's that. Now, the other new series coming on to watch this, Russian Doll 2. Did you ever watch Russian Doll?
No, I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I like the sound of it, but then I think we'd only just reviewed something like something like Groundhog Day. It just felt like, oh God, I can't watch one of them again.
No, this is, trust me, it's well worth the effort. Russian Doll is very good. Now, where Russian Doll was based on Groundhog Day, it's got that element in it. This takes it in a new direction. It's got nothing to do with Groundhog Day either. Okay, no. I'm not going to say where it goes, but it's very interesting and raises a lot of questions about what's happening to the main character. It's like, no, please don't go there. Right. You know, that sort of Marty McFly moments where it's that kind of thing where you're like, please don't sleep with your mum.
Okay.
It's kind of in that sort of ballpark.
Oh,
right? But
no.
Yeah, and
no.
It's good. It's funny, and I love the main actor in it as well. She was in Orange Is the New Black.
Yeah, she's really good in that.
And she's really good in this as well. I mean, this is really, a really good vehicle for her talents.
Yeah.
So, highly recommend that. Russian Doll 2. If you've not seen the first season, get on and watch that. There's only about 6 or 7 episodes, I think, in the first season. And it's the same with this. And it's the same sort of very dry comedy in it as well. So,
cool.
Well worth a watch. And the last thing I've watched.
Here we go.
The last thing, which is something I literally tripped over on YouTube. Now, it's called The Daily Show, right? Now, this isn't the political comedy show that is big in America at the moment.
Right.
In animation, there are certain people who are associated with certain voiceovers, right? Especially in the superhero world, right? It's like the most famous being probably Kevin Conroy for Batman, right?
Yeah, or Nolan North for just about everyone in video games.
Indeed. Mark Hamill for the Joker, right?
Yeah.
This show, The Daily Show, focuses on an actor called Tim Daly, who was the voice of Superman for just about everything except for the Justice League for a good long while, right? So he in the Superman TV show, the animated series, the one that ran alongside the Batman one, he was Superman in that.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like the video, the actual episodes are only like about 10, 15 minutes each. But it's focusing on the fact that he stopped being Superman in things, and his son is now the voice of Superman in animated shows, right? It's Sam Daly now does the stuff. And it's this is a scripted show, of course. This isn't like reality TV, but it goes on the premise that Tim Daly has played Superman for so long that he thinks he's actually got the powers, right? And it's his son having to deal with this all the time, because his son is like, Dad, you haven't got X-ray vision. And like, you see bits of him where he's got the fridge open and he's breathing into the fridge, and he shuts it, puts his hands on his hips. He's like, everything is cold in there now. He's like, Dad, it's a fridge.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. And they do get famous people showing up in it, like other people who've done voiceovers in things like the Justice League and that. It's like there's one episode where Sam Daly has had to shut Tim Daly in a bedroom and lock him away because he's being a danger to himself, because he's getting a bit over the top with things like the superpowers. Thinks he can fly.
Hang on. Is this does Nathan Fillion turn up in this?
Yes, it's that episode. He calls in Nathan Fillion. He says, Nathan, I didn't know what to do. You were the first person I thought of to call. He goes, yeah, tell me what's wrong. Tell me what's happening. And he describes all the superpower stuff, and he goes, yeah. He said, I know what he's going through. Yeah. I know what he's going through. I was the voice of the Green Lantern for a while there.
That's right.
And he says, don't worry. He says, I'll go in and deal with it. And as he's talking to him, he's taking things like he takes his wallet out of his trousers, he takes his change out, puts his keys on the table. He's like, don't worry. He says, I know what I'm doing. Undoes his belt, puts it down, takes a hammer out of his back pocket, puts it on the table. And you see Sam Daly look at the hammer and look back between him. And he's like, don't come into the room. He said, whatever you do, whatever you hear, whatever noises, whatever you hear, do not come into the bedroom. Don't be douchey. Don't come in. And so he goes, I'll be back in a minute. And he goes off, and Sam's sitting there at the table. And then he looks down at Nathan Fillion's stuff, and he notices his wallet's green. And he pulls it out, and it's a Green Lantern wallet. And it just like, oh, fuck. And he goes up to the bedroom and he opens the door and Tim Daly suddenly appears in Superman pajamas with a little cape on, right? He's like on the bed. And all of a sudden Nathan Fillion jumps into shot and he's got this really shit Green Lantern costume on.
Yeah.
And they're just, of course, pretending to be superheroes. And it just ends with them
running
doing
around.
that.
There's a bit of, was it Nathan Fillion standing on the bed going,
That's right.
Yeah.
But then it cuts to a little while later and Sam's sitting there talking to Michael Rosenbaum, right, who was Lex Luthor in Smallville.
And the Flash in Justice League.
Yeah, you see, he talks about, I didn't know what to do. He said, I thought I'd call you because you were Lex Luthor in Smallville. I thought you could help me out. And he goes, yeah, I also played Flash in the Justice League. Sorry, And you suddenly see it dawn on him what's about to happen. He's like, don't worry, I know how to deal with this. And he just pulls out a pair of Flash underpants and puts them on and marches off to the bedroom. And so it's all kinds of shit like that. And like I say, they're only 5-minute episodes. The reality TV one, where they try to get a reality TV show off the ground, absolutely brilliant as well.
What's the channel called? Because
it's on YouTube.
Yeah,
that's it.
Is there a channel?
No. You just type in The Daily Show and just put in DALY.
DALY. That's right.
Yeah, not because you will get like The Daily Show, the political show, coming up with videos from that. You know, with Trevor Noah and all this lot. But no, Tim Daly.
Cool.
Daily Show.
Awesome. I was going to say sorry for stealing your thunder there with the Michael Rosenbaum, because it suddenly just dawned on me. I was like, oh, hang on, he was the Flash. Oh, fuck.
There is an episode that's called Batman versus Superman, and the actual avatar is Kevin Conroy on the floor with his hand around Tim Daly's throat, and it's like, oh, I've got to see this. I've got to watch this.
Yeah.
So
nice.
The Daily Show, have a watch. It's free. It's on YouTube, and it's a fucking good laugh.
Cool. And is that it, sir, or you got anything else?
Apart from making stuff, going back into the kitchen, making the Biscoff caramel slices.
I've got something to bring up about that, actually.
Yeah, what's that?
You posted on Facebook that you'd made some like billionaire shortbread thing. Yeah.
It's Biscoff, this was, not the standard. Yeah, I saw a recipe come up and it was like, no bacon involved. Yeah. This is what you do.
And then, right, okay, I'm going to go around the table here. So, you know, I'm going to ask a question here, right?
Yeah.
If you've got something approaching a circular or an oval shaped cake, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Elton, what shape do you cut out of it?
Oh,
an oval
and where?
Cake.
All right, an oval or a square or something like that. What shape do you cut out of it, and where do you cut out of it?
See now,
because I knew you'd have an opinion on it. I'm going to ask you as well, Jim, before we go, before we go any further, because before we get to my week, there's an image that appears on my Facebook wall every bloody time I log in, and it gives me eye twitch. And it's off your fucking Facebook wall, Darren.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it the picture of the cake?
Yes.
What's wrong with it? I just cut a piece out of it. I just removed it to show the inside.
Elton.
Okay. So we're talking about cutting cake. So on a round cake, you'd naturally cut a triangle.
Yes.
On a square cake, you could cut it into squares, but I think it really does depend on how thick it is.
And if you cut a square cake up, what's the first slice that you take out of it? Do you take from the corner or do you take from the fucking centre?
Oh, you take the corner.
I didn't take it from the centre. I took it from
bloody well did.
No, I didn't. Right, hold on. Let's just try and define what the centre is, shall we? Okay.
Hold on.
If I cut a square cake into 9 pieces, right? 3 along the top, 3 along the middle, 3 along the bottom, and I take the edge piece from out. That's not the middle, is it?
You've taken the edge, right? Okay, if it's
I took the edge piece out.
If it's like the numbers on a number pad, and you've got 7, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. You took 2.
I didn't take
Darren,
2.
why would you take 2?
You took 2.
I took one of the
8?
edge
You
pieces
take
off.
1, 3, or 7
2
or
brute.
9.
Nice.
I took
Nice.
from the. I didn't take from the centre. I didn't take the centrepiece.
I'm looking at the
I
picture.
didn't.
Right
I'm
now.
look. Right, hold on.
I'm looking at that fucking
Wait there,
picture right now.
Wait there,
I
wait
see
there.
it every day. I log in.
Right.
I see that fucking picture with the
Hold
bit taken
on,
out, like
hold on.
Stonehenge
It's not-
of Biscoff.
Dude, there were 9 bits.
And you
That
didn't
bit
take
you-
the corner. You took the middle at the bottom.
No, hold on. I took the edge piece. I took a middle edge piece. I didn't take it from the fucking centre of the fucking cake. I took
middle-
the edge bit.
The
I
middle
took-
edge.
What's
Elton,
that got to
Jim.
do with it? What does it matter?
Oh, just look.
Seriously, dude.
You have hills to die upon, such as having chips served up on a shovel. This is my hill to die upon.
So, do you never eat those bits of the cake then? Do you just
I
leave
do,
them sitting there
but
like
after
a
I've
plus
taken the
sign?
edges,
It's an edge piece.
it's not an
That's
edge piece.
It is an edge.
You got
Right,
corners.
dude. I've got.
I'm putting it
photos
on the
of
Facebook group. That's it.
You got to start
Oh
on
man!
a corner.
Right, hold on.
You got to start in a corner
Why'd you have to start in a corner?
because it's a fucking corner.
But why? It's in the same edge bracket as that. If it was completely square, it wouldn't fucking matter, would it? Seriously.
Took it out the middle of the edge. Just
Middle of the edge. And
it's just wrong.
you need help.
No. You've done me wrong. You've done me dirty, man.
Dude.
You could have taken a corner. You could have taken a corner, but you didn't. You took
Right.
the middle right out of it. Look at.
I didn't
Jim
take the middle.
Elton,
The
go on
middle's
his
still there.
Facebook
I'm
page.
looking at the middle right now.
Go to his Facebook page and look. Not the centre. I'm talking about the edge centre. You took an edge centre.
Right, I'm going to drop
Didn't
something
need to.
into the chat, which
Just no. Just wrong. Naughty Darren.
I am so sorry if I broke some British fucking law that says you can't take the edge bit from the middle.
Fucking your history's greatest.
I'm the villain now, am I?
Yeah.
Am I? Well, you know what?
There, look, see.
I do it again.
Elton's got it. See, Elton's got it right there in the chat. Look at that nightmare. Look at that. That's a fucking nightmare. That's the
I do it
abhorrence.
again. I do it again.
That is a crime against humanity. Cake, and I will not stand for it. that is my filming in portrait. That is just no. Do not slice at the middle of a fucking cake. You fucking don't.
I'm certain. I know there's like a famous photo on the internet of a round cake with someone taking a triangle from the middle of the cake.
Exactly. Or taking a slice from the middle of a
Oh,
pizza.
my
or a square
God.
slice out of a pizza. You just no. Just naughty.
Oh my God.
You fucking you're an appalling human being. You
That
should
is
feel
not.
ashamed.
That is not the set.
Cake disaster. That's what I'm
We
saying.
need Neil deGrasse
Dude.
Tyson to work out where the center of a cake is. Where is the center of a cake?
I am posting this other picture of the cake, right?
I
Okay,
don't-
so you
I
can
don't want your
fucking
excuses.
see.
I don't want your Photoshop nonsense. Just
This is not a photo. Right, I'm posting this in the fucking chat now.
I'm putting it straight on the Facebook group.
Right, here we go. This is it, right? Okay, let me put this. You are such a fucking wrong one. Right, here we go.
You're wrong, mate.
Right, okay, look at that picture, right? Okay. You'll
Yeah.
see 9 slices.
And you've
right?
taken
Why did
the
you take the
middle
middle
from
one
the
down?
edge.
Take the middle one. You took
Why
the middle
not?
line. Why?
But why not?
It's just wrong.
I don't understand what the problem is.
It's
Why,
cake abuse.
why would you do it, Darren? Why?
Why?
Corner,
why would I
mate.
do it?
Start at the
Well,
corners.
But why?
How
There's
do you read a
more.
book? How do you read a book? Do you start at page 9 or start at the very beginning?
Hold on. I'm gonna.
sorry,
I'm-
but what?
I'm getting a third party in it. And you photographed it portrait, you bastard. Anyway,
And couldn't fit it into the photo either.
Well, you know what, right? If you use your Photoshop skills, you can turn the picture sideways.
no.
Why did you cut it with a penknife as well? Why is there a penknife there?
Okay, hold on.
Dude,
ladies.
that's not a penknife.
Hold on,
You'll see
hold on.
that's the hole in the chopping board.
Hold on. I'm getting. Hold on. That penknife's a hole in the chopping board, you son of a bitch. Right, I'm saving that image as well. I'm going to put that down as well.
You do see the rest of the countertop behind it, don't you? You see what colour it is, right? It's amazing.
Hold on.
I've got a penknife that's the same pattern, then, isn't it?
That is my name.
That is your name. Carol, come and have a look at this. Is that a horror? Is that wrong? Taking that slice out. You could have taken any fucking slice out. Why did you take that slice out? Is that... Go on.
I would have had the middle one. It's got...
Fuck you! Oh, we're divorced. Right, okay, fine. There you go.
Carol, can I just say that your good looks and personality are only exceeded by your charm and wit. That's all.
She can't hear you. He's licking your ass now. He's just talking you up.
I beg your pardon.
Yes. Well, if you eat fucking bits of cake that way, mate.
Where's the Pornhub? Where's the Pornhub?
Yeah, sorry, hold on. Hang on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Keep standards up.
Yeah, break it down one more time. Just no. Anyway, right. Now that I've brought that up, now that I've got that out of my chest. Because fuck you, that's why. That's all I got to say. Just fuck you. Fuck you and your cake abuse, man. That's just wrong. It's just it's just so wrong. Cake abuse, man. I tell you, there's a jail for people like you. You cut things in the right way, or you don't bother. You just, if you're gonna do that, just no.
I am
no. You want to go on about chips on a shovel. That's my thing. And the fucking penknife.
This could be a good thing to do, though.
What?
So, listeners of the Black Dog, if you make cake this weekend, cut it awkwardly and send it in on the group.
Fuck you, Elton.
No, just as a social experiment.
I'll give you a social experiment.
It'll be fun to see.
Are you in next week?
I want you to cut it like a Tetris puzzle.
Cut it like one of those first jigsaw puzzles that you do when you're about 6, when you just cut up a piece of paper.
In fact,
cut me like one of your French girls.
I'll cut you like one
cut
of
it in
French
odd pieces, right? Cut it in odd numbered pieces, okay?
And then take the middle bit from the edge, like some kind of psychopath.
Yep. In fact, don't even do that, right? What you do is,
every fucking day I've opened up my Facebook page, Facebook wall, to see that horrible Millennium Falcon-sized gap in the.
Do you know what? Next time,
Chewie, we're home.
Look! Even Matt Jones, live scenes. Matt Jones is shocked. He's put a shocked face on it.
Do you know what I'm going to do? Right, next time I make one of these, I'm going to cut off a corner, right, of one of the corner pieces, but it's going to be the corner near the centre of the cake, not on the outside of it. That's what I'm going to do.
Your history's greatest monster, you and Hitler, right there.
I don't care.
You're on a list, mate. There is a list for
Said
people
that in
like
my best Malcolm McDowell impression. I don't care, Metcalf.
Fucking sod you and your fucking awful cake cutting.
The gas hob is the fire in which we all burn, Metcalf.
Right.
Ouch.
Right. Now I'm going to mute the fucking page for at least a week until you post another picture and it disappears out of my feed.
That picture just became my fucking avatar. There we go.
Put it as a banner across the top of your page.
Next time, I'm just going to remove the corners completely and just have it's just a plus sign,
like the paper in BSG.
Yeah, that's it. Or maybe I'll just remove random slices.
Yeah. Or the doors in Babylon 5, which had some nonsensical corner for you to clock your head on in the corner.
That's the one.
Right. Okay. Well, just.
Well, it tasted fucking lovely anyway. So
did it?
Yeah.
That'll be because you're sick. You're a sick man, just eating it in the wrong way.
Yep. And I'm making more this week as well.
Oh, really? Gonna cut it diagonally, are you?
Yeah, fucking
right. Cut it as a zigzag, like the
what?
fucking Flash logo or Zenith logo, straight through the middle.
Should I tell you what I'm going to do?
Go on.
I'll tell you.
Go on.
What I'm going to do is,
I'm
going to get a knife and cut it while blindfolded. In fact, I'm going to cut it with a pair of fucking scissors. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, to be quite honest, I already thought you did that, looking at the way you pick the fucking slices up. Fucking abusive cake. Your evil cake abuse. It will not stand, my friend. It will not stand. You
need to go and see someone. That's what you need.
You need to hold yourself to a higher standard. Is what needs to happen. Fucking cake abuse. Nonsense. just appalls me. Anyway,
I'm going to make you one of those, and I'm just going to send you the corner part. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to take. Do you know what? I'm going to take a square out in the middle, and it's not even going to be directly in the middle. It's going to be off centre.
Oh,
that's what it'll be.
Cut a circle out in the middle.
No, not even in the middle.
He can't cut a
right?
circle. Have you seen how he cuts his fucking cake?
I'm going to cut the circle.
You can't even cut a straight line.
Near one of the corners of the middle part. That's what I'm going to do. Yep.
Right. Well,
in fact, I'm going to cut it so that there's 7 slices along the bottom and 8 slices along the top. There you go. Fucking have that. It's going to be like, no, in fact, I'm going to cut it like a fucking MC Escher painting. That's what I'm going to do. You're not going to be able to work that shit out, I tell you.
Oh. Right. Ugh, son of a bitch. Right, okay, well, I'll have to
use a fucking lawnmower.
Looks like you already have.
Oh, thanks, man. It still tasted lovely, though, no matter how I cut it. You know, yeah.
Did it? Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Yep.
Me and Matt Jones know what you did on the Facebook group. If anybody on the Facebook group, go to facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast. I'm going to pin that fucking picture to the top. I'm going to pin it to the top of the group. Let your crimes be seen while there's a lady going, shame, and ringing the bell. Shame. Shame.
Well, my work and my week here has been done. Thank you very much.
My name is Darren Barnes. Thank you and good night. Oh, right. Oh, my week, I'll just blast through it then, really. I went glamping. That was quite nice, where people cut things properly. I heard you. And yeah, it was really cool. Except, and this may be relevant. This is what I was saying to you up in the green room, Elton. We heard a creature of unknown origin out of your window going fuck.
Yes.
Well, you see, it was lovely. You see, I go glamping with the family, and it's like a tent which you don't need to put up, and it's got floors, and it's got heating, and it's got all sorts of lovely stuff. And you can just chill out, and I turn my phone off, and it's like I've turned it off. I've got nothing to do with the internet. I've completely disassociated myself from all of that. And then at 5 o'clock in the morning, a deer stands. No, not a female deer. A deer, as in yes, a doe, a deer, a female deer. Yes. Stands.
Was that while there was a flash of golden sun coming through your tent?
Yeah, and me, a name I call myself, and far a long, long way to run. And it stood outside our tent and literally did a single phrase from Taylor Swift's Trouble for nearly 3 fucking hours at 5 in the morning. So basically, it would be all quiet, and then all of a sudden it'd be dum dum. Dum dum. Ah! Trouble, trouble, trouble. This is going in my head. Dum dum. Ah! Dum dum. Ah! Dum dum. Trouble, trouble, trouble. Dum dum. Ah! And it just went on for nearly 3 fucking hours.
You exaggerated. It was 2.5.
Oh, it's 2.5. Okay. So 2.5 hours. There you go.
Oh, you're such an exaggerator.
Oh, I do. I push the boundaries for humour so much so. Fucking thing. I tell you what, it was. Oh. So yeah. So my peace was broken by this fucking deer, and then sheep would come and eat round the back of the tent as well. So if it wasn't a deer going you had this sheep kind of going right behind the pillow on the wall, right behind my head. So this peaceful fucking keep away from everything holiday to keep it nice and quiet turned into listen to animals annoy the shit out of you. Plus, we got invaded by a bunch of chickens, which was also good. We had 4 chickens, and we actually got to recognise them, but we couldn't think of names. So we had Ethel, Ethel 2, Electric Boogaloo, Ethel 3, This Time It's War, and Ethel 4 with Ethel with a Vengeance.
Can I ask? Did you greet them like Bert Kwok?
Hello, chickens! Yeah, funny enough, I did quite often. But otherwise, the rest of the holiday was good, except for the fact when I turned on my phone, the first thing I saw was that cake. Anyway, knocked my chi right out, mate. Like a whole week just went out the window. A whole week of relaxation.
It set up home in your head rent-free. Yeah.
It has. Elsewhere in my life, I started watching a series on Disney Plus called Light and Magic. Have you heard of this?
Nope.
Okay. Well, basically, it's a 6-part series, which is a 6-part documentary on the making, or the establishing and the history of industrial light and magic.
Oh.
And it is absolutely fantastic. At first, I'm like, I'm going to watch one episode. Then it's like, no, I'm going to watch another one. Then it's like, no, actually, I'm going to watch the 3rd one, and then the 4th and the 5th, and they had like sort of interviews from everyone, from John Dykstra right through to sort of like the modern guys who are working on things like T2 and working on the digital effects for Jurassic Park and everything. And it's just how the history of this effects house just happened. And some of it's like warts and all. I mean, towards the end, as it gets closer and closer to like the Mandalorian and how they did stuff for that, and the Marvel movies, it gets a bit more polished, shall we say? A little bit more like, hey, we have been family, and we're all family, and it's all great family sort of thing. But right at the start, you got like John Dykstra sort of saying, I know, I'm going to make a camera. How are you going to make a camera? I don't know. I'm just going to get some parts and put it together and put a spaceship in front of it and all this sort of thing. And it's all spit braces and belts and sort of, it's really good stuff. All the sort of like the old hands talking about the stuff. And I found myself really, really invested in it. I thought it was fucking great. And even George Lucas was kind of like in it. And he's like talking about how he sort of would put problems to people and saying, I don't know how this shit works. That's why I've got you. You go and figure it out. And it was quite interesting because one of the things it did do, which especially after sort of being away from the internet for so long, was it kind of shot down for me. And I should have done this for years ago, but it shot down for me a lot of things like, when you see like people going, oh no, the Star Destroyer has to have 3,000 people on board and it has to be at least 1/4 mile long, and the Death Star has these things because of these things and this reason and this in-universe reason that's never explained. And then you've got some 80-year-old guy going, no, we put the trenches in the Death Star because basically our molds wouldn't fit together.
Oh.
And you're like, oh. And then they're like, well, how can we make this work? And they're like, well, how about we make it a trench? And they're like, okay, we can do that. And they speak to George and he goes, yeah, I guess that's a good idea. It's just like everyone shrugs and carries on, and you jump.
Happy mistakes.
Exactly, and there's lots of stuff like that. There's the thing I brought up years ago when we did the Empire Strikes Back, which is like the fact that some of the asteroids are potatoes, and you get to see them as well. But you also see things like like the fact that in one of the star destroyers in the distance, a Return of the Jedi is a plimsoll. All that sort of thing. And all the belts and braces kind of stuff is really interesting. And I tell you what, it's really funny because it did do this thing to me, which was kind of like watched all this stuff. And then I came back online and there was some hoo-ha about, I don't know, pick a thing and pick a bunch of fans screaming about it. And I just thought, yeah, it suddenly throws into really into perspective how little any of this shit really matters, and how much of it is just people making shit up to get cross about it, or gatekeep it, or stand in front of it. And it was really an eye-opening kind of documentary. It's really well done. It covers things like Iron Man. It covers the Star Wars movies, the move from model making to digital, and how Phil Tippett, who was doing all this stop motion stuff on Jurassic Park, and he was doing all these stop motion tests, and then suddenly these two guys who were like frat boys who had just got hold of a copy of Power Animator, which would later become Maya, and they're sort of going, we can make a dinosaur. We can make it work. And then they kind of show it one day as a sort of ambush to sort of Steven Spielberg, and he goes, yep, that's going to work. And there's Phil Tippett with his plastic dinosaurs going, hello? And then how they sort of molded it round so that his stop motion animation would actually help the CGI. But it glosses over a few rough edges. There's a few bits where you think, yeah, there's a little bit more to that than you're telling us. Like people getting told to fuck off because we're all moving to San Francisco now. But it's a really good documentary. It's 6 parts, all about an hour long. Most of them cover like the Star Wars films, obviously. But if you've got any interest in this stuff, it's really worth a watch. Really worth a watch. And I thoroughly loved it. I started off with 1 or 2 episodes, and then by the end of the day, I'd actually binged all 6. I'd done 6 hours on Sunday just watching it, going, I really should watch The Endless. No, I'll do 1 more episode. It'll be fine. Yeah, so...
See, I would love to see a series on the happy mistakes in films and in... especially in making albums as well.
Yeah.
I would really love to hear the stories of someone walked in and trod on a cat's tail, and that just actually was in the mix somewhere.
Yeah. Well, there's I mean, it's not 100% that, but there are a few like that. I mean, things like like some poor sod making the trench for the Death Star, and he spent like ages. Nobody else wanted to make this thing, so he had to make it, and he's made it. And then all of a sudden, like the camera, the cinematographer comes along with a little kind of focus, a little handheld focus thing, and she looks and she goes, "Nah, if it's gonna feel big, we've got to make the windows like half the size." And he realises he's got to fill over the entire model and just start again, picking pinholes through this thing. And you just see his face kind of like, oh, because this thing's like 20 feet long, 30 feet long, and it's like, oh, God.
You imagine having an office and your window faces into the trench, and then one day it's just like, zoom, zoom, zoom. What the fuck was that?
Oh fuck yeah! What the hell was that? Yeah. So there's lots of things. There's lots of things like that, and it is like I say, if you've got any interest in those films or special effects, definitely look it up. Especially the whole thing about the aliens. Again, the aliens and the Terminator and all that kind of stuff. The way they come at these problems, especially like with the cantina scene. Yeah, this is a good one with the cantina scene. George Lucas filmed it, and they filmed it, and they go, okay, right, fine. And he goes, yeah, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot of monsters in there. There's not a lot of aliens. It needs to feel more crowded. And they thought, well, we can film a load of them, or what we can do is we can just sit there, make a load of silly masks, and go sit in a cupboard and film each other. And that was it. There was 2 guys who literally kept filming each other with their mate in a cupboard with different masks on over and over and over again. And that's all the cutaway scenes. So when you see all these cutaway scenes in the cantina to like monsters hiding in corners and monsters hiding in little alcoves and all this kind of thing, that's literally 2 guys and one other guy with a camera just going, oh, what if we turn this mask inside out and spray paint it blue? Brilliant. That's great. That's another monster. and you suddenly go, and then you go back onto Twitter, and you go onto Facebook, and you go onto all these things, and you see people writing up like huge, great big swathes of information about who these things are on Wikipedia and Wikipedia, and you think, no, that's Phil Tippett with a plastic mask on, folded inside out, and it only looks like that because it's been folded inside out and spray painted blue. It's just so many things like that, and it was quite funny. I just came away from that going, oh, okay, none of this shit matters. It really don't. Not a single solitary thing. So yeah, I loved that. Yeah, there was other stuff. I read some books and played some games, but I'll leave that because we are running long. We are running very long. So we shall leave it here. There was no feedback for last week. By the way, yeah, the Light and Magic, Industrial Light and Magic documentary 6-part series is on Disney+. Yeah, there was no feedback for last week's episode, but there was some notes on the film we're about to review, so I might bring those up as we talk about it. But let's roll the jingle, and we will be back to review The Endless. We will be back to review The Endless. We will be back to review The Endless. We will be back to review The Endless.
Ooh, we're watching a new movie we've never seen before. I'm buttering my nipples and waxing my ass. Roll up the Mystery Monica film. Roll up for the Mystery Monica film. Roll up
Masturbation.
for the Mystery Monica film. Roll up for the Mystery Monica film. The Mystery Monica film is waiting for us to hit play. Going to watch it today, what will we say?
Right, so The Endless. The Endless is a 2017 American science fiction horror drama film directed, produced and starring Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. Benson also wrote the film while Moorhead was a cinematographer. Both also acted and were in it as editors. It premiered on April 21st, 2017 at the Tribeca Film Festival before being released on April 6th, 2018. It co-stars Callie Hernandez, who also turned up in Alien Covenant. That was, as soon as I saw her, I thought, I've seen her somewhere, and it was like, straight to Google. I know.
Yeah.
Tate Ellington, Lou Temple, James Jordan, and the film tells the story of two brothers, Benson and Moorhead, who visit an alleged cult which they formerly belonged. The Endless may be interpreted as a partial sequel to Benson and Moorhead's previous film, Resolution, as it shares the same universe and some of the same characters. There is no budget for it, but how much do you reckon it earned at the box office, Darren?
I think it earned. I can't think of anything. I'm just going to say,
Okay, fair enough.
50 grand. There we go. I don't remember
It's a
it
tough one to
doing-
think of stuff,
okay.
isn't it?
Exactly. It is.
In which case, then we'll move to Jim. Okay, Elton.
6 million.
4 Polaroid pictures of me looking up at the
Elton's,
sky.
Elton's watched it a few times and put a bit of thought in there, hasn't he? I was going to say beer,
Yeah.
but actually, it only earned at the box office just shy of $1 million. It did not do well. I say it did not do well. We don't know how much it actually cost to make, so we can't really speak about that. It did rather well on critical reception, though, but I'll skip all of that stuff in case it kind of influences us. So let's go around the table. Top line kind of quick review. Elton, it was your pick, so you go last, sir. But we'll start with you, Jim. What did you think about it?
I really like this movie. It's his second time I've seen it. And it is a film that rewards you going back to it. Well, once you've got the end of the movie and you have an idea of where it's all going, there is lots of things right at the start. You go, hang on. So I think it's a really interesting movie, and it's a real progression on from their first movie, Resolution, which this does overlap with. And I really dig what they're doing. I think kind of as directors and writers, they've got like a grip on sort of genre stuff and actually, dare I say, think of new things to show us.
I was going to just ask you, did you see Synchronic? Because that's how I was going to say
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And Spring is the one that's between. They say it's a very strong quartet of movies where it's kind of, you can see their influences, but it's not just doing cosplay. They've actually got their own ideas and their own sort of vibe, and it fits in a tradition. Their stories, I'd say, and but going in new directions is kind of so refreshing. I think this movie is just so intriguing because it is just kind of, especially coming back to it, you really going, I know where this is going, but at the same time, there's so much you don't know where it's going, and you still catching you out the second time round.
Cool. Also, that apparently they did some work on Moonlight as well. These guys. They worked on the episode called Summon the Suit and The Tomb. But anyway, which kind of feels about right, because those are the most surreal episodes, if I recall correctly. But okay, what about you then, Dal? What did you think about it?
Yeah, I liked it as well. I just liked the off-kilterness of it, the sort of just very strangeness of the whole thing. You know, you don't get any real warning about what's about to happen, and it just kind of goes off on a turn there. And
cool.
Yeah,
okie dokie.
I mean, enjoyed it.
In which case, I mean, for me, I really enjoyed it. I'd seen Synchronic and I'd seen Spring. So I kind of, in my mind, I thought I knew what I was getting myself into. Sort of like the way the film was going to be filmed, the way it was going to progress. But even so, it still had me kind of thinking, what's going on here? And you just sort of double back on yourself. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I have to say, I did have to watch it a second time. The reason being, because the first time was kind of like, I was kind of a bit flat on it. I thought, yeah, it's interesting. There's lots of stuff going on here, and there's lots of interesting stuff going on, but I don't feel engaged. And I thought, no, hang on. I'm missing something. And then I watched it again, and there was bits and pieces I picked up the second time round, and I thought, oh, okay, yeah, I like this a lot more than I did before. And it sort of, and just to go to Jim's point, I think it gets better the more you watch it. Cool. So what about you then, Elton? I mean, you suggested it, sir. So what did you think of it? I mean, how many times have you seen it?
I certainly did. Well, the first time round, I watched it twice and had the very similar experience where you watch it, you take it in and go, okay, there's something there that I need to grasp hold of that I haven't quite got just yet. And I saw Resolution after I'd seen this. I wanted to do Resolution, but you can't find it for love nor money on streaming services anywhere, which is a bit of a shame, because I would have loved to have done it in order and worked through it with you guys.
I was going to say, I haven't seen Resolution, but I went looking for that straight after watching Synchronic.
Well, trust me, this film, I think improves Resolution. I really enjoy Resolution, and it is its own little thing, which is very, very enjoyable. But when you come to this and you're like, oh, okay. Because in this film you visit a couple of sites. The camper van is in Resolution.
Oh, it's the French guy's camper van, isn't it?
That's
you don't see him, but you do see him in Resolution.
Don't spoil it,
that's
man.
right.
Because if I see it, I'm going to watch it as soon as I find it.
Cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to drop that, but it does improve it. What I love about this is you have loops on like this, and it's got that quirky moments as well, which picks you up, and it just breaks that tension that you're feeling at some moments. And it is quite amusing at times as well, especially when the guy shoots himself in the head. You see the blood go everywhere.
Oh,
and then,
come on!
Oh, damn it!
Yeah. Though interestingly, I did notice, because I knew where that was going instantly. When he sat down, when he sees the guy hanging. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, spoilers. There is literally no way we can talk about this without spoilers. So if you're curious about it after we've just given it a thumbs up, go watch it. Go off to Film 4 if you're in the UK and watch it, or rent it on is it Amazon Prime for about $1.95 or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think it's only on. Yeah,
I was
going to
say. I think it's to the end of this week.
It's got to be real quick.
Okay. And this week being the week starting the August the 1st for those of you listening in the future, or listening in the past, listening before the past. So the thing I noticed was when he first sees the guy hanging in the shed, and you walk in. Over his shoulder and just all over the door and all over his bike is blood splats. And you think, oh, what the fuck's happened here? And you think he's a psychopath. And then when they come back, those blood splats are missing. And then, so I knew it almost kind of ruined the gag by the time he actually got to the gag. Because he comes out of the door and he's like, hang on, where's all the blood? Oh, I see where this is going. Because the first time I didn't notice it, but the second time round I was like, oh, you beauties, your attention to detail is just mwah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's lots of things to catch all the way through. There's so many things, and there are purposely things as well, like the map of where the zones are, which are on one of the walls, and there's I think a painting or a drawing of some sort of projector where it projects your thoughts onto it, and you kind of see that later at the camper van. And there's just a lovely little mystery going all the way through this, where you think, what is going on? And you do spend some time just wondering, what is this all about? I'm not too sure, but I think there are some beautiful, hard-hitting things that are just not taken care of, which are there just for people like us, which will sit down and analyse.
Which brings me, I guess, to my first question, really. What do you guys... I mean, all of you probably got your own interpretations, or maybe they cross over or what. But what do you actually think is going on? I'll start with you, Dal. What do you think? What do you actually think is happening here?
What do I think is happening? Well, this is the thing. Is it aliens? Is it gods from another realm? I personally think it's actually... I think it's gods rather than UFOs and aliens. I don't think it's aliens at all. I think it's actually like, the many-angled ones. It's just because of the punishments they put various people through, especially that one poor bloke whose time resets every 3 fucking seconds, and it ends with him exploding every time. That guy, it's just, only gods could be that cruel, That's it. It's that sort of thing. So I think it's gods from
right,
sort of like from the fourth dimension, that kind of thing. It's very H.P. Lovecraft in it's that, it's maybe they're even visible if you could see into the fourth dimension, but this is why you can't see them there, because we can only see in 3 dimensions, and these beings I think are in 4 dimensions. So they can see us, but we can't see them. And they're using us as their entertainment, and if we displease them, they do what they do to us. And it depends on how much you upset those gods is how long your reset
and in
is.
which case, with the H.P. Lovecraft nod, obviously I need to move to Mr. Moon, sir. What's your take on the whole thing?
I think this has a proper Lovecraftian vibe to it, with, in a very sort of pure way. I mean, when we say Lovecraftian, people just assume old books and monsters with tentacles, and that's not really what
this is
what it was all about. And it's kind of, because this I think has this kind of creeping dread and this idea of you're actually in contact with something that actually just being around it warps your reality. It's like in the story Call of Cthulhu, there is a sequence where they go to part of Cthulhu's Island rises, and several men of the ship disappear, just get lost in the architecture, in the angles. And this is kind of, I see whatever's here, the entity, I think that's what the director's got, just refer to it as the entity. It's something that's kind of intruding in our world in that particular location. It's very localized, like kind of like a bogeyman or a local god, but it's always been there. I mean, you get a hint of how long it's been there, because they do come across this weird old statue that is kind of, I did do some homework, and they said they meant that to be something like, from a civilization of, original Americans before the indigenous Americans we know about, that we've completely forgotten about. It's been that, it's been there that long. And I think, just, as you say, it's this idea that it's something that's living among us, but it's literally, it's so big we can't see it. Because I think Darren's exactly right. It exists in 4 or 5 dimensions. And it is kind of, there's a writer called John Keel who wrote the book about the Mothman, and he postulated this idea that there was something called ultra-terrestrials, a race of beings that have always been here, and we're mostly completely unaware of because they're like on a different wavelength, but occasionally you catch a glimpse of them, and then people interpret that according to their own state of mind. So someone sees an angel, someone sees a flying saucer, someone sees a demon, someone sees a god, someone sees a Mothman. But they're just kind of, imperfect ways of us trying to grasp seeing something that we're not really
kind of
equipped
like
to understand or even
your
process.
mind processing some patterns in a crisp and saying it's a face.
It kind of. It is kind of like, you looking at four-dimensional crisp.
Whatever that is. Yeah, I was going to say,
coming out from Smith's
come for the
Walkers.
cake cutting arguments.
With the little
Come for the cake
packet of
cutting
salt
arguments.
as well.
Stay for the 4-dimensional crisps.
Is that where they're going to take it after crinkles? Is that it then? So
I reckon that's how you
shape
cut your
crisp, and you've got
cakes
the crinkle.
in 4 fucking dimensions.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. And it was then that the ambulance arrived and he was carted away.
The bombs is dropping. Yeah, as the trank dart comes through the window.
I honestly thought they stopped putting tartrazine in fucking orange juice, mate. I really did, but, well, what can I say?
Dear.
Obviously got a bad batch there.
Man. Anyway, yeah. So what about you then? What do you reckon the deal is with it?
What do I think? I like to think it's aliens because aliens. But I think it is like a god of some sort. But it's just that shot where they're on the lake and something disappears underneath the water, very circular, as the stable diet of a UFO flying saucer type thing. It's just, and that's where I like this movie. It just leaves it a bit ambiguous as to what it is. It makes you think, well, it could be that, or it could be this, and you're not quite sure. But it could be gods or aliens, and just using humans as their playthings. And there are a couple of shots where we look down upon on the fire pits where they're going to be plucked off, and there's a couple of shots of that actually, and you get the view of the god / alien. But then also, I think when Justin is running and doing his run, and there's a shot of ants just working, and you think that's how they see humans. They're just ants. They're just playthings. They're nothing. You just brush them away. It doesn't matter. There'll always be more. They're not actually got personalities or anything like that. And that's it. It's something far more important than what a human is. And it just sees humans as
That's the old
ants,
Lovecraftian thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, but it's that they always use it. They try to use it in Marvel as well with Loki about the whole thing about does an ant have an argument with a boot? It's that whole thing of if you're walking through the garden and you step on 2,000 ants while you're walking through the grass. To them, it's the worst thing that's ever happened. To you, it's just a stain on your foot and you don't know where you got it from. And that's kind of where it is, It's like kind of where... Yeah,
it's
but
kids
not even
playing with
magnifying
glasses, isn't it?
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, for me, I was going to say the one thing I thought, especially the second time round, was that when you see the lake and you see that ring and you thought a circular thing and you thought it's a UFO, yeah? I thought it was an eye. And then I suddenly started to think, I mean, this is just me, because this is where I was kind of going. I was like, I was hoping you guys would have different thoughts, so it's like, cool, I'm glad. But one of the things I was thinking was the entire land is the thing. All those little weird, knobbly things that are coming up that are like, sort of spires that kind of mark out territories. They're almost like just growths on the skin. Like hairs, yeah. Like follicles.
Like hairs.
And the time distortion, I was starting to think, well, if you've got something that big and it warps space and time, and you get something, things that warp space and time, you're warping time based on mass, and you're doing the same with space. And whenever this thing's looking at someone, what I noticed, especially the first time around, because I'm very sensitive to motion sickness, and especially in sort of like video games, if it goes up to 60 frames a second and the lens is not quite right, I start to go, whoa. And I noticed a couple of times I was watching this the first time round, and I was thinking, oh God, I'm not feeling good about this. Something's really odd.
I think I know where you're going with this.
There's a couple of shots where it pans round and you do get like this strange distortion as it moves.
Yeah, the lens has been distorted
Like the
backwards,
fisheye
and it's
thing.
kind of like instead of increasing the magnification, they've reduced the magnification by like half, and so now you've got this massive wide gate on the camera, and as they turn, everything kind of warps and distorts. And to me, I thought at first I'm thinking, well, maybe that's them walking from time bubble to time bubble. But then I'm suddenly starting to think, no, actually, they're walking into the vision of this thing. It isn't them looking up at a thing in the sky they can't see. It's like they're inside the thing. It's looking at them from every direction. And, it's... I don't know. I can't explain it, and I think that's kind of beauty of it. It's like the original Alien. You don't know what it is, where it's come from, or why it's doing what it's doing. You just know it is, and that's the thing I really liked about it. Was everyone's going, it's up in the sky. You're looking up in the sky, and there's the thing with the pulling the rope and all this kind of thing. And it's like maybe, but when you see that water, when you see that lake, and you see that thing underneath the lake, and the guy goes, "It's a monster," you think, oh, it's a thing, he's seen a creature. But what if he's seen... What if he's actually seen the rest of it from that eye? Like the edge of the eye and all the way out to the edge of the lake. And if that lake isn't actually a lake, if it's the meniscus on the eye.
Ugh.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, hang on, no, how big is this thing? Correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, but that's one of the many things that Lovecraft employed, was that the fact that some of these creatures are so fucking huge, you think they're islands.
Well, it's the idea that we're sort of insignificant, and Lovecraft's all about shifting the scale from a human-centric one to the cosmic one where we don't matter. I mean, I think it is a very localized force. It is tied to that bit of land. It seems to have godlike powers to us, but at the same time, I don't think it's like truly omnipotent, because it's just in that area. But then again,
I mean, what? Go on.
But it's also that it has an interest in us, because it does communicate, and it does seem to pay attention to what people are doing and can alter their loops accordingly. And the people who are actually sort of are attempting to communicate through images with it, the actual cult, they're in the biggest, coziest loop of all.
Well, yeah,
that we know of.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you guys run at this first, because I've got another idea. But what do you think, Dal? I mean, do you think that they get? Sorry, excuse me, beer's bubbling in me. Does anybody want a beer? What was?
Yeah,
yes,
cool.
I have got Windy Pops. No, actually, I was going to say, what about the beer? Was the beer drugged? Let's get the basics out. Was the beer drugged? Because every fucker drank that beer. How do we feel about the beer? Is it significant?
I must admit, I didn't even think about the beer, to be honest.
Mainly because you've got the guys from Resolution trapped in a loop. You've got the guy in the tent who was there before they were brewing beer. Too much kind of outside people having the beer, being like Shitty Carl is, I believe he's called.
Oh, right, okay.
Isn't on the beer either.
Sorry, it was just quite funny, because when it first started, and anyone jump in if they feel they agree or disagree, but when they first started and they go in and you're being told it's a cult, it's a death cult, it's a cult. And then you're kind of hyper aware of anything that feels culty, shall we say. And that whole thing of, would you like a beer, seemed to be kind of constantly popping up. And I was just thinking, okay. So what's in the beer?
I didn't really pay much attention to the beer, I must admit. Although you did have the guy, I forget, the guy with the big bushy beard and long hair. He was clearly
And put a lock on
brewing
his
the
door.
beer. And yeah, but he was brewing the beer, but never quite getting perfection. And they had like a 10-year window of their loop, didn't they? I think.
Yeah, basically, they were 10. Yeah, their loop is a decade, apparently.
Yeah, and which we'll go into like a theory of mine later on. But they have like this. He has this 10 years of brewing this thing, and you see him at the campfire and just drinking it, and just he's still not there. He's done this so many times, and he's chucking it away. He's like, I can't do this. I'm just never going to get perfection, am I?
What about you, Dal? Did you think the beer had any significance?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, it could be quite easy to say that, but then
Just because all the shit really starts to happen once the beer is in place, if you know what I mean.
Well, you notice something else as well about this, sort of like sticking to the whole time loop thing here and whatever. You notice anyone that's not in a position to worship this god has a really shitty loop, right? Everyone outside that group has a really kind of fucked up loop. The bloke in the shed who keeps killing himself. You got the bloke with the two guys in the camper, one who's got the gun and the other one who keeps approaching him and saying, hey, it's me, buddy, don't shoot me. There's that one. And then there's the bloke in the tent who keeps exploding, right? So anybody that doesn't worship that, whatever it is, right, cops a bad loop. Because all the ones that are actually worshipping this deity, they've got a perfectly fine loop. As you say, 10 years, was it?
Yeah.
Cycle? Yeah, there you go.
Excuse me. Yeah, because basically their loop is going to end when the brothers originally leave.
Yeah.
And then they're going back where it's about to end again. As we see with the so-called ascension, where they just get blatted.
So how many times? And this raises another question as well, right? With that in mind, and this is what I thought at the end of it.
Yeah.
Is this an Inception ending?
Yep.
Did they get out of that loop or not? Is this one gigantic?
That was where I was coming to.
Yeah,
go on.
And you've now mentioning that how it's like their loop begins with these guys leaving and then ends with them coming back. That just further it means it leans more weight towards that.
Well, the loop goes further than that, I think. The brothers' loop, because when they ended up at the cult because their mother was in a car crash, and Hal saves them from the car crash and he raises them on the the commune. When they're going back, they stop at the roadside shrine they made for their mum as kids, and he remarks how the picture they made has held up really well. And it's held up really well.
Yes.
The same reason no one has fucking aged.
Yes.
So the loop, the brothers' loop, is longer than 10 years.
That's absolutely bang on. That's because that's what I was thinking. By the end of it, I was thinking these guys are all, when you see them all getting picked off at the end, they're all smiling at watching everyone get away, watching Aaron and Justin get away, because they know that's the end of the loop. And in fact, I can't remember his name, the cult leader, Hal, actually says, remember, get away before the 3 moons become full. And why would he say that? Why does he know that that's going to happen? Because he's already had it. He's had it happen dozen of times or more, and he knows that they have to leave by that point And the thing was, and this is where I was hoping you guys would jump in because I didn't want to just take over, but the guy in the cabin, the nut job, Carl, he actually says, if you don't kowtow to it, if you don't show your fear and you just run away, it can't do anything. And what's the first thing that happens is when they go to leave, and it's been one step behind them all the way, because, there's the bit where they shoot and it hits something that's not there, and then there's the bit when they see the camera and it plays on the screen, and then it kind of misses them, so it gets really frustrated and knocks the camera away. But it gets them at the very end, because when it turns into that big swirly mass of nonsense at the end, which I understand why they did it, but to me it was like kind of, oh, you've done the Vast of Night thing of like showing when you really shouldn't have, just leave it. But as soon as it does that, they both turn around and they both jump. As soon as they jump, that's it. It's got them. Because they did exactly what Carl told them not to do, which was to kowtow or be scared of it.
Right, so the start of their loop is
driving
back
because
home,
they did
yes?
exactly that. They did exactly what Carl told them not to do. Because if they showed no interest in it and just drove away, it would be bored by them. But the fact of the matter was that they turned around and they both went as they saw this thing, and it's like, no, and that was my first thought the first time around. I was just thinking, no, that's it now. You've entertained it. You've shown your fear. And now here is where you start. Here is where you start. And then they go through that barrier and they scream as they go through the barrier and they explode through the barrier and they think they get away and the film just goes bang, ends. And it's like, yeah, because now the creature's happy. It wants you to go back to the start. It wants you to have the crash. It wants you to have your mother die. And it wants you to go through that big loop.
So, no, hang on. No.
Well, what's...
No. So, what you're saying is when they come out of that loop, they've got all the fire around them and they're heading towards, and they can see their reflection heading towards themselves in the bubble, yes?
No, they come out the other side.
Loop, yeah? And then
they come out the other side. They drive away. They go, ha, okay, you drive, sort of thing. And then as soon as they see them drive away, the film just goes, stop. They literally cut straight to black and goes, the endless. It goes, dumph. There's no seeing them reach the horizon, which is usually cinematic term for watching them sail away and have a future. No, like in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, if you actually watch all the way through the credits don't fade to black until they're right at the distance. It's cinematic shorthand for, and then they went off into the distance. They don't get that. They get about halfway down the road and the film just goes, done. And that's it. That's the end. That's the end of their loop.
What does that mean?
That's the end of their loop. They've entertained the creature. It's gone bang. That's the end. And then they wake up back at the crash with their parents in the camp, and there begins their loop.
Right. So part of
their
loop...
life in the city is pointless. And they can't get anywhere because the creature is actually fucking with them still.
Right. So the end of their loop is not the fire coming around them and then getting to the edge of the bubble. Their loop is after that, they think they've escaped, and then it resets to the point where they've had the car crash and then they get taken back, yes? Right, okay. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit
but
more.
it's overlapping
than what I was thinking.
Because that's what Carl was saying. He's saying,
Yeah.
these bubbles are all far apart, but I'm sure they overlap somewhere and all this kind of stuff. And it's that.
See, I was thinking about the mother and the car crash and the original time that happened. Maybe someone was trying to escape at some point and just appeared, and then
But there's
ended
also
up
things
having a car crash.
As I'm going back to the comments now, as David Renane, Happy Dave on the Facebook group calls it, he goes, just watched the episode, watched the film for Black Dog Homework. No spoilers, but I'm only the only one thinking Costco Selma Blair. And that's the thing. Costco Selma Blair and what's his name? Aaron. Is it Aaron? I can't remember his name now. Fucking idiot. Justin. No, Aaron. Yeah, Aaron. Yeah,
Justin and Aaron are the main people.
And she turns around and goes, I think we're meant to be together. And then Justin goes, oh yeah, well, she's always looked that age. She's a lot older than you think. And I think she's a pedo. And so that means that Justin has been round this loop once already. He's fallen for her by, as he says, sleeping with her, but he's actually just cuddled up and fallen asleep. And she's been round like 3 times while he's been growing up.
Yeah, so their loop is like 20. No, I
see. Justin and Aaron's loop is, let's just say for argument's sake, Justin and Aaron's loop is 15 years, and the town's loop is 5 to 10 years. So what happens is there's this kind of slight progression of 5 years with Justin and Aaron. And each time they end up with, as David Renane calls it, Costco Selma Blair. Exactly.
Selma Blair.
Yeah, blue and white straight Selma Blair, who was obviously in Alien. I only remember her in Alien because she was the one who they put right front and centre in the trailer, and she dies in the shower. But anyway, other than that, I couldn't remember her in the film at all. Well, I couldn't remember anyone in the film at all, to be honest. But yeah, so I think, maybe my maths out, but I think that's the point, is their loop is slightly longer and staggered in its start. So they start as young kids, grow up to be 30-year-old blokes, and then snap out of the situation, because it's cause and effect. It's the thing we always had to go at with the Terminator films and all these other things, which is kind of like, you can't have the events that happen unless all the events happen. Do you know what I mean? The commune can't be eaten by the thing, whatever it is, without these people without Justin and Aaron getting involved and then escaping. So they have to have done it before, in the past.
No, I understand. I'm just trying to wrap my head around them having a different loop and a different time. And I understand it could be possible, because it doesn't matter what happens in anyone else's
like
loop.
The poor sod in
That's
the tent.
their loop. So if their loop is 15 years, it's 15 years. So they always come back to the commune 9 years after.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't know.
How can I put it?
Just before the end of their loop. It doesn't matter where they are on their loop. They always come back.
Yeah, their
just
loop
before
is
the
their
end
loop
of
is
the
offset
commune's
by
loop.
like 4 hours, but it's still a decade. But it just like a decade, everything explodes behind them. They drive for an hour, and then their loop is reset. And in an hour after the commune reappears, suddenly there's an accident. Which then means that the loop means the bubble is so much bigger because those guys come out of that commune, speak to the newspapers and the media, and affect other people. So that loop has got to be much bigger, like as big as the town that they affect. You know, when they go to this town, it's awful. And as Jim says, that the creature's able to fuck with them, hundreds and hundreds of miles away.
Well, that's how they get called back, because they get that video, and the creep is from the entity.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay. Pass the blunt round. Here we go.
The thing I was just always thinking of is the crash, and what happened with the crash. You don't see anything with the crash. You don't have to see anything with the crash, but I suppose their loop could start at the crash, because the crash site is yards from the edge of their bubble, isn't it?
Literally, they can stand at the crash site where the memorial is, and look and see the birds wheeling around the bubble tops. That's how I saw them. They were wheeling around the tops of the bubbles.
Yeah. It was interesting to see the birds in the sky. And there's a moment where he looks down both ends of the roads, and the birds are there. Then he looks at the other birds, and then they're not there.
Yes,
which means that something's reset somewhere.
And that's the Inception thing. It's the bubble within a bubble within a bubble within a bubble. So things that are looping for one person are not looping for another. And there's also a comment about the guy on the commune who says, "Oh, I should be getting better at this card trick," and it's like, really, why? And he goes, "Oh yeah, because it takes 1,000,000 hours to learn it." Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
he's completely misunderstanding how it's working. But the point is, he thinks he's gone round it a 1,000,000 hours worth, and thinks he should have learnt these card tricks by now. But anyway, I've been whiffling on. Has anyone got any additional theories? Anything else they want to throw in? Just because otherwise I'm just going to blither on, and it would just be Lee talks bollocks for another hour and 3/4.
I think there is a story between the two brothers of like the controlling aspect as well. Because you got Justin, who is very, very controlling of Aaron and where he goes and what he does, and how things should be done and how his life should be led. And no, let's go there for one day. Let's come home. Let's do this. And by the end of that, by the end of the loop, as we're saying, he's kind of no. Don't worry about it. You'll figure it out. It'll be fine.
Did you notice something else that he kept saying every time he talked about going back? They had such good food. The food was really delicious, and I really liked the food, and that food was great. It was really delicious food. That, really, really delicious. Food was superb.
That's because it's always fresh.
Every time.
The vegetables loop was like 10 seconds. The vegetables had not pleased the creature.
No, they hadn't.
I worked it out as well. The guy in the tent. So I think he was resetting every 5 seconds, because that was what the clock was showing us.
Yeah.
Throughout the course of the movie, I worked it out that he reset 1,284
Nice.
times.
Well, that's just during the movie.
Wow.
Also, were they 5 seconds? Or were they
Yeah.
5 minutes? Because the clock moves 5 minutes. So is time's completely moving
Oh, I see what
madly.
you mean, yeah.
So he's sitting there for 5 minutes and going, ah! And then exploding.
I took it as 5 seconds only because you had a ticking clock and you
Yeah.
normally equate
Yeah,
that
definitely.
tick
But
as a
it's just
second.
the way, it's the minute hand going tick, 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 tick. But I don't know. At that point, I thought if Elton hasn't bought an entire fucking roll of Bako foil and made a hat out of it, this watching this film was for nothing.
Yeah. But without spoiling resolution or anything like that, it is very interesting to go to the cabin and see the two guys there.
Yeah, I the two guys, that was quite funny. I thought it was quite funny. It was just like, well, we've resigned ourselves to it. If you ever tell me the fucking Mikey thing again, okay. I just kind of figured that was how me and Darren would end up. I just figure you're gonna chain me to a fucking radiator and set fire to us both.
I think we need the Pornhub theme tune for
Hold
this,
on,
don't
we ain't finished. We're not done yet.
There we go.
Yeah,
And the
time
loop
reset,
There you
yes.
go. Thank you. Yeah.
But that's how I see us going out. I think that will be the last episode of Black Dog, last episode ever. When I'm just uploading from clean feed from attached to a radiator while Darren pours petrol all over my house.
Yeah. So I have to admit, on this watch, because I watched this first and then Resolution, and then I totally forgot how entwined they were together. And so when you saw the drawing of one of the ladies was doing a drawing of the gun nut tweaker man down the road, and you saw the guy stood out in front of like a burning house. I was like, oh, that's from Resolution. I recognise that. Okay, where's this going to happen? And then we got to the cabin. I'd totally forgotten how much of that was in there.
I will have to look up
But
Resolution because
so cool.
I would be very
So
interested
cool.
to watch it. I have to say, I'm looking at all the stuff that they've made, and I'm kind of as much as I hated the first VHS, because I thought it was just tedious. But they actually did a segment of VHS Viral, which was the sequel. So I might check that out. Bone Storm. But yeah, I like all their stuff. And there's another film. There's two others after Synchronic as well. After Midnight and She Dies Tomorrow, and another one which is coming up called Something in the Dirt. So, but yeah.
Can I ask as well, what do people think of the lady that was crying and putting notes around the place? Because I'm a bit confused. I know that isn't she the wife of the guy in the cabin who's gone to look for his mates? But why the crying and why the notes?
Because, if I'm honest, she said I think she said something along the lines of, I've only just got here. And then she made some comment about the fact that they won't stop partying. So I think her loop is actually a fuck sight smaller. And I think she literally has one night. Because
Yes, the same
night when they are partying. So she's turned up. She's essentially turned up as the place explodes. As the place explodes, and she comes out, and she's there for like one night.
Yeah,
and she can't get any sleep, and she knows that leaving the stickers around, going "shut the fuck up," is the way that her husband would react. You know, she'd leave the labels around. And So her loop is just slightly longer than the poor sod in the tent, to be honest. Because you see her a couple of times, once on the bike at night and once on the bike in the morning. Yeah, in the bike in the morning.
Was that her on the bike?
That's her pedalling away in the morning as well. So her loop is almost 12 hours.
Right. Oh, see, so she's in the same loop,
and she's just
day and
looping
night.
around just day and night. Her thing isn't linked to a day. It's literally just linked to a number of hours. So she does 12 hours in the morning and pedals off and dies somehow, and then comes back in the middle at the start of the evening, tries to get some kip, but can't because they're having the party. And again, that's the end of the end of the fucking camp.
Mm-hmm.
Bang, they all explode. She resets. She pedals off in the morning. So she's literally doing day and night.
Mm-hmm.
Which is even more painful, which is what she's saying.
Painful.
She's saying, I'm not tired, but I feel like I need to sleep. But I can't sleep because, you know.
Which would be considerably shorter than a husband's loop as well.
So he's doing like almost weeks, because that's the whole thing. He has to dry up his mate and clean him up. So that's got to be weeks. So that guy's doing like weeks and weeks, and his wife's doing literally 2 loops in a day. Or maybe 2 loops in 2 days, because they both, Aaron and Justin, see her as they walk in. They stay a night, and then on the second night is when she leaves, when it all goes tits up. Mm-hmm. Second or third night. So, okay, maybe she's doing 2 loops. Maybe she's doing 2 loops in 3 days. But she's doing a much shorter loop. That's for sure.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. So that is the inception there. So her loop, she always sees herself pedaling in, meeting up with Hal, and him turning around and saying, "Yeah, okay, fine, we'll go out in the morning and go find your husband." And from her perspective, so when we see her pedaling at night, it could, from her perspective,
she's only seeing daytime, but we're seeing her in a different loop. So it's almost like a teeny tiny bubble that's literally the length from the hut to the end of the road.
Because when we get out of the bubble that the group are in, we go from night to day, don't we?
Against the wall, and then there's the 2 fucking moons. I mean, there's loops all over the place, and I think there's somewhat. I'm pretty sure if you look on Reddit, and I'd be very surprised if you haven't. If you look on Reddit, you can find someone who's actually mapped out the locations of all those points, those little markers, which all sit around where there's loops. And I can't believe there isn't like 1,000 bubbles, all different things. Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's little loops in between themselves, because look, maybe I'm diving a bit too deep into this, but Justin was asking Aaron to turn the fucking light off in the car, and yet he didn't.
What, you saying the light bulb's got a loop?
I'm saying that action of not turning the light off is a loop itself.
The light bulb displeased
The light bulb
How exactly did one do that?
Exactly. How exactly did that happen? I don't know. I don't know what you're honestly talking about, Elton. I'll be honest with you, because that.
I don't know. I'm going a bit too deep. That doesn't need to be going deep. But I think it comes from, there's that bit where Justin is doing the jogging, and he sees that cabin thing move and kick dust up, and then it pans around and it blinks into the sun, and it goes night and then straight back to day again.
But that's around the cabin.
There's that
I
weird
think that's
moment
poor,
there.
poor old shitty Carl and his day getting looped. So you kind of cross over two barriers. He's standing in between a barrier because if you look, there's a post on one side and a post on another, and he's standing there, and he kind of wobbles one way and it goes whoop, and it goes dark, and he just leans back and it goes whoop, and it comes back. So it's literally he's standing on the edge of two different bubbles that are doing two different things at the same time. So that's why poor old Carl's stomping around and not seeing Justin until Justin is actually in his bubble.
So that's why we could see Carl go through the bubble.
Yeah, doing his little stompy
and carry
thing
on his
when
loop.
Justin's going, "Hi there," and carries on walking.
So they're not restricted by their bubbles.
Their bubbles.
Because I got the impression that they were. The camp was.
Jim, Darren, help me out here, because it's just me. It's me against Elton.
I'm sorry, mate. I gave up listening, and I've just started studying chaos theory because that's a lot simpler to understand. I think.
I think they can go so far then the loop, because don't we see Carl walk and he's like disappears, then he comes back out of his shed.
That there's a moment where he goes around
so
the corner,
far, yeah,
and he says a line of it will take you clean out your shoes, and then Aaron finds a shoe on the floor, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But
so that must be a god killing
here's
him
another question.
then.
We keep saying bubbles, but are the bubbles actually bubbles, or are they the shape of the path that the person takes?
They're bubbles because we get that view from the camper van when the god realizes they don't want to stay at the camper van and then chucks
is it the fact that it's one step
projector
behind them trying to scare them to make the loop?
I think it was annoyed that they didn't stay.
In which case, the creature is working in linear time as well. In which case, it's trapped in it. He's trapped in his own loop as well.
He's in a loop.
The creature itself is trapped in a loop. It may not be creating loops. It may be stuck in its own loops. It may be stuck in loops. Something else is creating the loops, and the creature's just amusing itself. and then he started crying.
We've broken Elton.
Is it panspermia?
It's the
problem, isn't it?
No.
Don't put that into porno.
No, it's the grandfather paradox, isn't it? It's the no.
Don't put that into porno.
Yeah, I was going to say no. Granddad, you're naked.
No, I was going to say the what's the one that they did in the 12th Doctor thing about Beethoven? About the fact that that the time traveller goes back in time to meet Beethoven because he loves Beethoven's stuff. He goes back in time and discovers that Beethoven doesn't exist. So then what he does is he goes, oh, it's called the bootstrap paradox, that's it. And then what he does is he goes, well, I can't be in a world that doesn't exist without Beethoven. So he transcribes all of Beethoven's symphonies, writes them down, puts them in a book, leaves them back in the 1800s or the 1500s or 16 or wherever Beethoven is, and then leaves. So the question is, if Beethoven didn't exist, who originally wrote the symphonies? Mm-hmm. And that's where you are. That's where you are in a situation, because if the monster or creature or whatever it is, the entity, is following them around, trying to scare the shit out of them so that it can capture them in a loop, it must in turn be following them around in a loop. every time. So it itself is trapped in that loop. So
then we have to go one bubble
who
out
or
from
what
that.
is making those bubbles? Is the creature actively making them as a hunting thing, or is something else trapping the creature, stopping it from escaping by sticking it in a bubble?
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
There's always a bigger fish.
There's always a bigger fish.
As Qui-Gon Jinn once said, it all comes back to Star Wars. I'm going to drink some more. Mm-hmm.
Also, thinking about the loops, it would be very hard to get into a longer loop, but it's very easy to get into a shorter loop. So maybe that's what happened to the guy in the tent.
I mean, you know,
because you could see Aaron and Justin going from their loop at the moment, and they could join the commune, and then they would be in that 10-year loop, which we are thinking is a lot shorter than their loop. But they couldn't go back to their loop. So you can always whittle yourself down. So the guy in the tent, maybe he started off in a big loop, and now he's just stuck in a tent, and he's like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah. One thing, just to go back on the guys' loops things, and I've only just seen this because I was looking up quotes just while we were talking. One of the quotes at the very beginning, yeah, it says, friends tell each other how they feel with relative frequency. Siblings wait for a more convenient time, like their deathbeds. Yeah? That's the first quote after the Lovecraft one that appears on the screen. What do the two brothers say to each other as they drive away? I love you, man. Yep. There you go.
Love you.
Bang. Yeah. The end.
Oh, man.
Right. That's it.
It's a thinker, isn't it? Okay. There's. Can I just run through?
Yeah, go for it.
There was
run
a couple
through
of things
now.
I wanted to
I'm
run
not
through.
going to throw them.
The fishing knot that he used, I didn't notice it the first time round, but I know that Hal mentions it about Aaron using a fishing knot to defeat the monster. Obviously, he's been fishing as
and
a young
of course,
kid,
the creatures in the lake.
It's just, it's just tiny little things that I like about that. Also the videos and all the videotapes, they were marked up with like dates, and they were like 1946 and 19 whatever, and so it's been going on for decades. This thing, they've been doing this for decades, which I like.
Which goes back to what I'm saying about the different speeds of loop, because if you think that Beardy Bloke and Hal go right back to 1942, let's just say, for argument's sake. So they go back to 1942, loop, over and over again until we get to modern times. And then actually their loop is small but repeating a lot. And then all of a sudden in comes Justin and Aaron, say, after the loop's repeated like 4 times, a decade each time. And then in comes Aaron and Justin, and they start from the 1980s. Yeah? So they go out, and they come out. And the one thing you notice is they don't use any modern technology. So they haven't got, like, mobile phones. They don't have, don't have microwaves. They don't have any of this stuff. They boil ramen in pots. They use gas hobs. All this kind of stuff. And so you think, right, okay, so they don't know modern technology. So from the 80s, they go forward 10 years and a couple of months. So they just created a loop that did a 10-year loop but it just happened after 4 loops of the commune. Sorry, just throwing that in there because I'm losing the plot.
Yeah, we're kind of.
I'm starting to get the feeling this is like the old version 1 Inception episode when we had Sean McGowan on there, and we all just sat there going, "Yeah, but if he's in this loop and if he's in this time, and we did this and that," and it was like literally 3 hours of multinational bumbling idiots going, "But what about the fucking spinning top?" You know. Right. I think unless we've got some major thing to break out, because I've got a lot of stuff I want to talk about with it, but I just don't want to say any more because I just think we'll just go down a massive rabbit hole. I feel like we should have a green room version, which is just you and me, Elton, just talking stuff while Jim and Darren go off and have a life, while we sit there and boil ramen and just talk about bollocks for another hour.
Okay. Has this inspired anyone to go off and watch Resolution?
Definitely.
Darren?
Yeah, I mean, I'll catch it if it's linked to
He won't do the podcast about it. Because he's like, fuck no.
Oh, I don't know. If I've got some things to say, yes, I must tell you about this thing, then that's not a problem.
And Jim, you've already seen it as well, haven't you?
Oh, yes, yeah. I mean, I did like you. I saw this first, and then, I've got to find Resolution.
Yeah.
I'd be interested if
definitely.
you did it the other way around.
Yeah, the proper way.
The proper way round.
I'll just before we move on, I will say that there was a couple of comments in the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Black Dog Podcast, which was on the banner. People have put comments underneath the banner, and fair enough. Matt Jones said, "I love this film." John Campion said, "Nice. Are people watching on all 4?" Which we are. And as at time of recording, which is the 2nd of August, you've still got 5 days to watch it. And Keith Calder said it was a singular movie, too soon for a rewatch, but looking forward to your discussion. Be looking forward to your response after that, Keith. After the last hour of us going, but what if? Yeah, but he did say, I feel like Elton's loop is destined to involve a seagull shack. Yeah, maybe
that's like on the second time round. We'll see. Wait until I pull the pin on
the
primer.
day you do that, I will just not have how was your week. We'll just jump straight into it because once we start talking about ties, it's all over. And then finally, Alan Wilby actually said, "I love this film, but it will divide the audience hugely." Well, actually, I think Alan. Mate, it's actually gone down quite well. Even though Jim and Darren have kind of bailed out after me and Elton put the tinfoil hats on, which is completely understandable, I'm going to be honest. I mean, I think everyone's kind of dug it, really, yeah? Cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely requires 2 watches. I don't think you can watch it the first time round and just go, oh, yeah, I understood that, because the more you think about it, the more you think of shit to think of, if you know what I mean.
You know, this kind of it's in the same realm as that Ethan Hawke film we watched about time travel. Yeah, it's that kind of level. I think you could just talk about this over and over and over, and I think this is it's one of those gems that nobody really knows about.
I completely agree. This is one of those films that it shouldn't be under the radar like it is. But maybe controversially, I prefer Predestination to this. The reason I say that, and you guys weigh in on how you feel about it, but the reason I say this is because Predestination is like a clockwork mechanism. You watch it and you go, I completely completely get this, and I completely understand how the time travel works, and I completely, totally see where all the bits fit together. It's like a precision mechanism. It's to me, that's the perfect time travel film. Just no two ways about it. There is no other time travel film that comes close. I think in terms of how, cause and effect, how things work out, how the characters react knowing the knowledge, how people know not knowing the knowledge. Every corner's thought into. This, as we've demonstrated, has a lot of vagaries which we can all think of things and put stuff in the way. What's it? Who is it? Richard Dawkins' teapot around Mars. It's that you can't prove it's there, but you can't prove it's not. So, and that to me is this film. We could all come up with reasons and things, and the way things work, but none of us have a definitive answer, and we never will. And so we can all just say, the creature's as big as the fucking Earth. And its eye is in the lake. And then, Darren, you're saying, it's up in the sky and it's looking down on us. Or Jim's going, it's an eldritch thing and it's in 5 dimensions. None of us have got a definitive answer. So, yeah. But on the other hand, when you start dealing with time travel, I like to think this is how it works. And predestination does that for me. But there you go. I'm going to shut up now. I've drunk way too much.
What was the other film called that comes with this?
Sort of is it Revolution? Resolution.
What was it called?
Resolution.
Resolution.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But yeah, I thought this is a great film, and it rewards multiple watches, and absolutely thumbs up. Well done, Elton.
Cool.
So here we are.
Thank you very much.
Unless anyone's got anything else to add. No, I want to go to bed. Yeah. Thank you very much, Lee. Fuck you. I'm going to bed. Well, funny we should say that, because you know what, Dal? It's your turn to pick. Should I hit pause, or should we just listen to should we just listen to the awkward silence?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Right, okay.
No, please do.
There will now be a short intermission.
And we're back. Darren, what have you picked?
Right. Okay. Now, they say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I'm going to completely ignore that. Okay, with this selection, this is this is a film poster that I saw a good while back while travelling to work, and I looked at it and I thought, well, looking at what's on that film poster, I'm not going to watch that just because of what is on that film poster. And what is on this film poster is what looks like a bag on a bed with a very large spider crawling out of it. Now, I have never seen this film. It's got 4 stars out of 5 on Amazon, so I don't know whether that means it's any good. They are IMDb scores, of course. But the film I'm choosing to watch, and it's a very short film, so if this is naff, we're out of there on 85 minutes. Right? Okay? This is a film called... And Elton, you best get down to the supermarket, mate, and get a fucking sack of potatoes for this one. All right? Because I got a feeling you're going to probably need them. It is
Possum.
Possum.
Okie dokie. So, Possum, and I'm assuming you haven't seen this before, Down.
I have never seen this before, but like I say, I've seen the poster. The poster looks terrifying.
That'll do for you.
So that'll do for me. I think I'm going to have nightmares from watching this one. I don't know. I've never seen it, so I don't know how good or how bad.
I'm going to ask this question, but I know the answer.
It
Jim, have you seen this film? I thought you did.
I own this film.
I thought you had.
I've reviewed it on my podcast.
Exactly. Are you looking forward to watching it again?
Not really. It's horrible.
Is it really? Is it really that bad?
It's all the terror and alienation of the early 1970s in a film.
Oh my God.
It's
stark.
It's very alienating, disturbing, stark, proper scary vintage synth soundtrack.
Yep.
Full of nightmare fuel. It's a good one to do because it's a story you will have to piece together. It's not an easy watch. And if you're arachnophobic
have fun.
or puppetophobic, maybe stay away because this will give you bad dreams.
Well, you know what? At least you didn't come out with something like this is what the Serbian film was based on. It's as long as we're not getting that or any mentions of two girls, one cup, then that's fine. I think we're okay.
I agree.
I
agree with your assessment, though. Elton, I'm reckoning a good 6 pounds of Maris Pipers and leave the oven on for 200 degrees.
Is that a beeping sound I can hear coming from your feed there, Elton, of a truck backing up onto your
loads of
driveway?
I'm thinking
yes.
sort of a good asteroid belt's worth of potatoes.
Right. Well, interesting.
You're going to say you've seen it now.
No, I haven't seen it. I have started it. But I haven't. I didn't stop it because I got scared or anything like that. I've still got like 55 minutes, so all the goodness is still there to be pruned off this tree. So I have started it. I haven't finished it yet.
Okie dokie.
How long ago did you start it? That's what I want to know.
It was, I think, last week. And it was one of them things where I started it and then I just got sidetracked by something else. I think it was last weekend, actually.
Well, there you go. We shall find out. We shall find out how everyone feels as we review Possum. As ever, it's August and summer holidays and silly season. Darren will be away next week, as will Elton. It doesn't feel fair that only me and Jim, who are the only two people who've actually seen this film, review it again. So we will be taking another week off. We'll go into another fortnight thing, and we will be back to review it when we record on August the 16th. At which point I think we'll be back to a weekly schedule, but we'll have to wait and see. And yes, Possum. So if you have any thoughts on Possum, if you have any thoughts on humongous great spidery puppet things, or the desolate isolation of a psychologically damaged person, by all means, send in feedback to feedback@blackdogpodcast.com. Leave it on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast, or hit us up on Twitter, which is @BlackDogPodcast. Right. That's going to be fun, I think. And we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks' time. And Darren, it's only what you deserve after cutting the cake the way you did. So have fun. And yes, so ladies and gentlemen, if you've got any thoughts about cutting cake either, just leave it on the Facebook group. The pictures are there. The pictures are there. But now let's move over to Pimp's Corner before we leave. And Jim, tell us what's going on Hypnagoria this week, next week, and the week after, whatever.
This week, all going well. I should be recommencing my History of Universal Horror, where we get to the last few movies. I'm not sure what we're doing on Commentary Club.
Yeah.
As we lost Cribbins and David Warner, we might pick a tribute film if we can find a good one.
Yes.
I'm sort of toying with the idea of doing Tron, or maybe The Omen, which are both, I think, on streaming. And I will have a spooky summertime short story from Elton and Blackwood coming out as soon as I finish.
So you're not thinking about doing Star Trek 5 for David Warner? Actually, I tell you what, Star Trek 6 for 5 minutes. Do David Warner or Time Bandits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Time Bandits is tempting.
Okay,
as well,
cool.
so.
Well, whatever it is, it'll be amazing, and it'll be out on hypnagoria.com. And awesome. And
Absolutely.
Elton, what about you, sir?
Just normal talking about cars going round in circles, but I would recommend Jim was on Great Derelicts recently.
Oh, yes, I was, yeah.
And I would recommend him talking about the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Is that the title?
Yes.
I always forget.
But not the fucking film.
Not the film.
That's good.
We kept that genie in this
Black
bottle.
Dog version 1 took that away, and we put that in a grave until we can find a place for it. So let's just leave it there. Just leave it buried in concrete. So we carry on that one.
And rates and reviews for Black Dog and Hypnagoria on iTunes would be
cool.
Much appreciated.
Okey-dokey. Well, thank you very much. And yes, that's it. Thank you, everyone. I think that's it for all of us. I don't think any of us are. Darren, you're not promoting nothing, are you?
No. Just to say, hopefully, when I come back from this time away, you're not going to have to call me Stumpy Barnard, because I am going off snorkeling with sharks.
Snorkeling with sharks.
That could be hazardous, I understand.
Real sharks
Snorkeling
or
with sharks,
just
yes.
baby shark doo-doo-doo-doo-doo? Yeah.
Estate agents.
No, I don't think they're like anything like great whites or anything like this.
Oh,
I
I've
think they're called
swum with them.
black-tip
I've swum with them.
sharks.
Cool. They are big, though.
Yeah.
They'll frighten the fuck out of you when you first see them.
Oh, yeah. There'll be me and a cage in between them. So there will be some protection, but you never know.
All I can say is to quote Robert Shaw: "You go in the water, sharks in the water, big shark." But you carry on.
For 10 million, I'll get you the head, the tail, the whole damn
black
shark.
tips can be up to like a good couple of meters long. Yes.
Can they now?
Except they don't like shallow waters.
Fantastic.
Stick to the shallows.
Stick to the shallows. Okay, well, I hopefully
you better hope
will
so.
be very shallow water then in that case. I hope so.
Very thick.
I hope those bars are thick.
Okay, cool. Well,
Very
on
thick.
that note, the only other parish notice I've got is in a week or two's time, I'm going to be restarting the Cartoon Beardy Twitter account. And with my birthday present I've just newly acquired, I might be doing some drawings and some art, and I shall be doing some promotion of that stuff. Not to sell it, just to go, look at my drawings, look at me, give me love. Otherwise, that's it, really. So thank you very much for getting this far. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Elton. And thank you all for listening. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time for Possum. Until then, take care, Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So I grew up in a rough area. As a child, people would cover me in chocolate, cream, and put a cherry on my head. And I was like, it's really tough in the ghetto.